Okay, Mr. DeLuca, you want to just tell me exactly what happened?
Sure. Unless I'm keeping you from something.
It's okay.
Thank you. Well, let's see. I was on my way to the Jewish home and hospital for the aged. I always go there on Wednesdays.
Oh?
I'm a volunteer. I read poetry to the old and the ill.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. Well, anyway, I was just about ready to catch my bus when I saw this woman lying face down on the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
So I run over there just as fast as my wooden leg would carry me. And I knelt down beside her, and I asked her if there was something I could do.
And?
And she says, sure. Then she grabs me in a headlock, starts biting my ear. The next thing I know, these two big guys are going through my pockets. And they kicked me in the ribs a couple of times and ran away. They even broke my reading glasses.
God, I'm really sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. I mean, better me than somebody less fortunate, you know?
Right. Look, why don't you just sit there and, try and make yourself comfortable. I'll get you a cup of coffee.
I don't want to put you out.
That's okay. I don't mind.
But I'm being a bother.
It's okay. Look, I want a cup.
And I'll get it.
Hey, I'll get it.
It's all the way over there.
Manage.
Well, yeah, it's a bit suspicious when the whole family just disappears like that, but, lady, look, there's nothing we can do about it. Yeah, sure, yes, we will keep an eye out for him.
Right, bye.
Somebody missing? The Waltons. Somebody wanted to know what happened to him.
I think the mother's a nurse now.
I'll have to check it out.
Marginal milk, Colt. Just a bunch of junk.
Appreciate it.
That's what I'm here for. Here you go, Sergeant.
Thank you, Carl.
I read the book.
Morning, David.
Morning, sir.
Barney, alarm just went off. Office building on 5th.
Oh, sir, I'm available.
Take wardrobe.
Can I help you?
Yes, I'm Perlita Aguilar. From the Philippines.
Okay.
They told me downstairs that Frank might be up here.
Frank who?
Frank Kluger.
What do you want to see him for?
We're supposed to get married.
Yeah.
Didn't he know she was coming?
I don't know. I mean, he went through that mail order bride thing, 6 months ago? I thought he forgot about the whole thing.
No, did you?
Well, I mean, we went through the magazines together. I picked her out, among others. I wrote all the letters. I can't imagine you would make a decision like this without checking with me.
But Barney, he didn't get her for you.
It's free now. I straightened it a little.
Well, that really wasn't necessary.
Oh?
I left a message with the inspector. Frank.
Oh.
He should be here momentarily.
Thank you.
He was expecting you, wasn't he?
I think so.
I'm telling you, I didn't steal nothing.
Double negative?
Okay, I'm colloquial, so sue me.
What do we got here?
This is Vincent Bryson.
And you are?
What happened?
The lure shop yet?
What happened?
We got to the building there. We caught Vinny here sneaking out the back, trying to cart off a video recorder, 2 electric typewriters, and this bust of Einstein.
Yeah, he's a snob like all the rest of them.
All the rest of whom?
Menson's.
Menson's?
Yeah, we caught Vinny ransacking the Mensa office.
Mensa. Oh, that's,
Basically an organization that caters to people with an IQ in the top 2%.
Right.
Sort of a social club for geniuses.
What's the matter? You got something against smart people?
I'm a member.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh, he is, Barney.
Huh?
Yeah, he had this on him. It says he's a member in good standing.
Until now.
You think this is funny?
No, I was making a point. See, I joined Mensa because I thought I could find people like me there. People I could talk to.
And?
They told me to wise up.
That's funny.
Sure, make jokes. Look, simple guys like you don't understand how frustrating it is to zip through the Sunday crossword like it was nothing. To always know how the movie's gonna turn out. I can't have a simple conversation with somebody. I just get bored.
Joe, take a statement.
Okay, smart guy. Sit down.
So what'd you do? Teach yourself English on a plane?
No. We were taught English in the school. And also, for 10 years, I worked outside of Manila at Clark Air Force Base.
Bombardier?
No. I worked in the snack bar as a cashier.
Uh-huh. Gee, that's surprising. A nice girl like you. How come you didn't marry a young flyboy?
Oh, I had many proposals, but marriage was never mentioned.
How about that Ali Fraser fight, huh?
I mean, the thing is, like, I was really happy back in grade school, you know, hanging out with the guys, cutting assembly, smoking in the boys' room. I had a ball.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then they go and they give me this stupid test. Next thing I know, I'm a junior at Columbia. Mathematics. I was 12.
Tough break.
You're damn right. No more friends. Strangers pointing at me in the cafeteria. Sorority girls patting me on the head. Felt like a freak.
Inside.
Yeah, right. So anyway, I'm up for my doctorate, right? I'm maybe halfway through a thesis in theoretical telemetry. I said, the hell with this. I packed my bags, got on my bicycle, knocked off a liquor store, and I never looked back.
You know, it took me 3 years to pass a stupid sergeant's exam.
Really? Wow. That's great.
Hold it, Mabel. Don't set the table. Frankie Luke is at the plate. And we're going into extra innings.
Well, Inspector, you ready to hit a home run?
How's it going, huh? Did? Ah, well,
sucker.
Aloha, Wahine.
Frank? It's very nice to meet you, Frank.
Likewise, I'm sure. Your office, Barn? I shall return. Well, Barney?
What do you mean, well?
Well, I got your message. You wanted to see me.
Yes, about Miss Avila out there.
Who? Oh, sweet Lalani. What did she have to say for herself? She in
Inspector,
town for the boat show?
you did send for her.
Not in the classic sense, Barney. I sent her one lousy postcard. Picture the Chrysler building, scribble a little note on it. Thanks for your letters. The weather here's fine. If you ever get in this neck of the woods, look me up. Maybe we'll get married. Regards. That's all there was to it.
That's all.
Well, I did apply for one of them sweetheart visa permits, whatever they call them, Barney. And then in a weak moment, I may have signed some gobbledygook immigration papers. They stuck under my nose as I'm walking out the door. But I figured all that junk, Barney, it'd probably get lost on a junk.
You did send for her.
I was only being polite, Barn.
You got a hell of a way of showing it. That woman just traveled 10,000 miles on the basis of your proposal. She's been sitting out there in that squad room, stuck all morning, waiting to see you. All right. Starting to get cold feet? Fine. We can deal with that. But you cannot avoid the issue by hiding in here.
You're absolutely right, Bob. I'll be downstairs.
Inspector!
I don't want to get mixed up in these domestic squabbles.
Inspector,
get ready. Nice. Hey, gotta run.
Captain,
Miss Avila,
is something wrong?
No. The inspector just remembered something he had to do. Downstairs. Policeman.
I see. Is he coming back?
Of course. Why shouldn't he?
Well, perhaps I should leave.
No. Please, I promise you he'll be back momentarily.
You will? Maybe I'll leave.
Why don't you do what you can to make Miss Avila feel comfortable? Some coffee, tea, a magazine?
I feel like I'm still on the plane.
Smoking, non-smoking? I'll get you some tea.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
I'm Norman. I have 17 foster children.
Yeah, can I help you?
I'm William Dietz. Mensa.
Stanley Wojciechowicz. Moron.
At any rate, they informed me downstairs that you're holding our Mr. Bryson here.
Yeah, it's him over there in cage.
Oh, my, the poor fellow looks like he's on exhibit.
Well, it's free.
Hello, Vincent.
Baldy.
Yes. Anyway, I was relaxing at my desk, thumbing through the Rosetta Stone, when I heard the disturbing news that you had pillaged our little club and made off with some rather valuable property.
Yeah. So?
Dietz, I'm Captain Miller.
Captain, I must say that I am quite displeased with your treatment of Mr. Bryson here.
I assume you're aware that Mr. Bryson was arrested for burglarizing the offices of your organization?
Yes. If I could just have a word with Mr. Bryson. In private.
Certainly.
Thank you. Anyway, Vincent, the thing I don't quite understand, so to speak, is why you chose to steal from us.
Why not?
Yes, but we're your own kind. I must say that I feel a little bit betrayed.
Don't take it personal. I steal from everybody.
Vincent, we are hardly everybody.
Yeah.
No, listen, listen, the sole purpose of Mensa is to bring people like us together as intellectual equals, huh? A select group of minds melded into a magnificent cerebral mass which can hurtle its way across the horizon of knowledge up to the very edge of esoterica.
I just wanted to talk about broads.
Excuse me. Would you like a Tootsie Roll?
No, thank you.
I always keep a handful in my pocket, you know, for the kids who come into my shop.
Yeah?
I fix toys.
Oh, that's nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So anyway, I've been noticing you sitting here all day alone, and I figure maybe you're feeling a little bit sad, huh? I mean, what with coming all the way over and not knowing exactly what's going on and all. Well, I just want to say that if things don't work out exactly like you planned, and if it isn't too much of an inconvenience, then I'll marry you.
I'm flattered that you offered, Norman, but I'm afraid I've already made a commitment to Frank.
Sure. I understand. No problem.
Boy.
Anyway, listen, I must say that having evaluated the pedestrian lifestyle you've embraced, you know, skulking down dark alleyways, climbing out of windows with your little sack, allowing yourself to victimize people who hardly merit your attention. Well, I must say, I find the whole nasty business quite disheartening.
Who cares?
I care. I do, Vincent. I want to help you. I want to help you to cultivate your potential, to groom you for achievement, to mold you into someone people admire and respect. Mm-hmm. Like me. After all, you know, I did found a booming investment firm. I'm highly regarded on the lecture circuit. Anthropology. I have a townhouse in the city. I have an estate in Vermont, Geneva. I have a beautiful, intelligent wife, Ruth. Ruth. You've heard of her, then? Oh, of course, you must have seen her, the blonde in the Maserati. One who likes her men young and dumb. Construction workers, bartenders, hockey players, cops.
Sarge.
Okay, so maybe I don't have bulging biceps or a swarthy complexion. Maybe I do lack a certain animal magnetism or handful upon handful of dark, wavy hair.
Mr. Dietz.
Well, grass doesn't grow on a busy street, Buster. Sorry.
Mr. Dietz, you want to step over here and sign a complaint?
Actually, I think that we are better equipped to deal with Mr. Bryson than the penal system as it is currently constituted.
So what? You're saying you're not going to press charges?
No. Providing that Mr. Bryson agrees to return with me to Mensa and attend a few of my personality workshops.
I'll pass.
Get that from Ruth. Vincent, are you going to allow me to walk right out of here and to leave you in the custody of these... Well, you know what they are.
Yeah, I do. I'd rather be here.
Thank you.
Fine.
Mr. Dietz, would you mind having a seat at my desk for a minute? You got a chance to walk out of here a free man. You're doing a stupid thing.
Well, it's a start.
Back. Thanks, Toots. So you're still here, huh?
There was nowhere else to go.
Oh, yeah, right.
Inspector.
Barney?
Did you want to see me?
No.
Oh. Gentlemen, it's about checkout time?
Yeah, I'm out of here.
We were just leaving.
Yes, we'll leave. Yep. Come on, Vinny. One sec. Come on.
Couldn't help it.
I gotta run.
Oh.
Good luck.
You certainly have a way with people, Frank.
Oh, thank you.
You know, I was beginning to think you weren't coming back. I almost left.
I guess I saved your trip, huh? Well, no, actually, I got to thinking, and I figured that I owe you an apology for my rude behavior before and all.
But that isn't really necessary.
Oh, no?
I mean, if you find me unattractive, if I'm just not what you're looking for in a wife, then just tell me.
Oh, no.
I'll understand.
Oh, no, you look fine.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, a little young, maybe. You're not too tall, but healthier than I had planned.
I sent you my photograph.
Oh, yes, but I figured that was a picture of maybe your great-granddaughter or Mrs. Marcus or one of the local banana crates, somebody.
That's a really nice thing to say, Frank.
Yes, it is. Oh, look, but don't go getting any ideas about, people throwing the rice and old shoes yet. I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Oh?
No. If it could last 30, 40 years, I've been pretty much on my own. I'd go and come when I please, in and out of my little one-room apartment. Quiet dinners at the Horn and Hardart, taking a movie now and then. An occasional burlesque show. For the expression. So it's pretty hard to give up all that good stuff.
Then, why did you send for me?
Huh? Because I'm lonely.
Me too.
You too? Okay. Now what?
I'm a little hungry.
Hungry? Well, that's no problem. There's a vending machine downstairs in the locker room, huh? No, I'm just kidding. Huh? Hey, what do you say? We'll go out, find a nice little spot, put on a feedback, okay?
Okay.
Good. I get you back. Oh, there's just one other thing I think I ought to mention before we go any further. We'll go out and have a nice dinner, but after that, I can't promise any dancing. Know what I mean? Okay. After you, Miss
Perlita.
Perlita Luger.
Everything work out?
Morning. Everybody?
Hi.
Morning.
They're in your office. Happy birthday, Barney.
Hey, Big Mouth. Did you get an invitation? What's the matter with you?
Surprise. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Who asked you to butt in? You're a criminal. You know him personally.
All right.
Do you work here? Did you get him a gift?
All right, then. Who is it?
Louis Beelan, breaking and entering.
And party pooping.
Hey, guys. What, I missed the party?
No, we're just peeking.
I'm sorry, Barney. I was checking this guy for priors.
Fine.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
We got you a present. I forgot to pick it up.
I appreciate the gesture. Thank you.
Wow, that was fun.
Yeah, let's do it again next year.
Well,
I'll get it this afternoon.
I meant him.
Oh, he broke into a warehouse over on Canal.
Hey, come on, I knocked.
When they picked him up, he had loaded a couple of dozen crates in his van.
Crates of what?
Oh, few breasts, mostly thighs.
What?
Frozen chicken, Barney.
Planning on having a barbecue, Mr. Beelan?
Just exercising my rights as an American.
By breaking and entering?
I mean, well, it's a government warehouse, piled up to the rafters with government food. And I'm a citizen.
That's an interesting concept.
Very new. Come.
Look, the stuff is just sitting there, and it's going to keep on sitting there till it rots. And then they're going to toss it into some garbage dump and leave it for the rats.
And you were trying to steal it.
Oh, sure. Avoid the issue.
Sit down.
All right, that was dispatched. There's a disturbance in the newspaper office.
You and Harris.
All right. You still gonna pick up Barney's bagpipes?
Bye, Dietrich.
Bye, son.
Wait till he sees the kilts.
Sir? A many happy return.
Thank you.
I'll remember this.
He's right.
Huh?
He was right, Beelan. I called down there to the warehouse. The guy told me the government leased the place 6 months ago. Stuffed it full of surplus chicken, and it's just sitting there. It's ridiculous, isn't it? With people going hungry out there?
Yeah, it does seem a little strange.
Seems like we ought to do something.
What did you have in mind, Wojo?
I don't know. Just something.
You think perhaps this is the president's responsibility?
Suppose nobody tells him about it.
All right, come on, you guys. Step inside here, will you?
It had to be me, right? He couldn't find somebody who likes his name in the paper?
That was responsible information from a highly reliable source.
Hey.
Take it easy. What do we got here? Assault and battery. This is Wendell Bergendahl. That's Andrew Jessel, Cub reporter.
When we got to the city room, we found these two grappling around on the floor.
After he'd loosened a few of my teeth.
Not bad for a cadaver, eh, dirthead?
What's happening to our society? I mean, this blind hostility, and it's fueled by stress and discontent, and it breeds violence.
Apparently. The fight started when Mr. Jessel refused to cooperate with Mr. Bergendahl.
I just wanted a simple retraction. He told me to take out an ad.
It doesn't need a retraction.
Retraction of what?
His obituary.
I rest my case.
Ironic, huh?
I'm in my kitchen this morning eating a bowl of life. Turn the page. I read that I'm dead.
Apparently, there are a couple of Wendell Bergendahls running around.
Well, can I help that? I mean, I'm just sitting there and I'm juggling funeral homes and I'm trying to beat the deadline and suddenly out of nowhere this guy comes in and he punches me in the face.
Oh, by 8:30 this morning, 4 realtors want to show my apartment, and when my mother reads it, she almost did die. I mean, I just want people to know that I'm still around.
Well, I'm convinced.
All right. We're going to need some statements, gentlemen.
You want the stiff?
Surprise me.
You know that never works.
Mr. Bergendahl, you want to have a seat right over there? Mr. Jessel, just have a seat, please.
So anyway, one day at the campus bookstore, I just happened to pick up a copy of All the President's Men. Oh, once I started, I just couldn't stop. The cunning investigative work and the hopping planes, at a moment's notice to pursue a lead and the clandestine meetings in garages and living on coffee and cigarettes. Well, I decided then it was the only thing I wanted to do with my life. So I work my tail off. I graduate with honors. And the next thing I know, I'm stuck in some dingy corner sharing a phone with the assistant food editor and copying biographies of boring dead people while the real reporters just walk by and snicker. Ugh. I keep asking myself, what am I doing wrong?
Have one?
I don't smoke.
Well, see? There you go.
Yes, sir. Can I help you?
Herb Lund, Department of Agriculture.
How you doing?
You called about a problem with one of our warehouses?
Uh-huh. Captain.
Yes, can I help you?
Herb Lund, Department of Agriculture. There's a problem with one of our warehouses. It's the cheese again, isn't it?
Chicken.
Chicken? Oh, who's Sergeant Wojciechowski?
Wojciechowicz.
It says Wojciechowski.
That's Wojciechowicz.
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 Yeah? Someone here to see you.
Huh? Herb Lund, Department of Agriculture.
Huh.
There's a problem with one of our warehouses.
Well, someone from the government had to come down and sign a complaint.
Really?
How about those medflies, huh?
We're also a little curious, Mr. Lund, about that chicken that you've got stored at the warehouse.
Whoa, Joe!
As long as he's here.
What about the chicken, Sergeant?
Well, it's just that it seems so strange that you've got all this food there, and there are people who really need it.
Fine.
What are you going to do about it?
We have no immediate plans.
Well, what'd you buy it for in the first place?
Look, I'm sure you're very concerned. I just don't have the time to sit here and explain the current system of price supports.
Mm-hmm.
Even the most basic fundamentals of supply-side economics are very difficult for the ordinary person to understand.
Try it.
When there is an overabundance of certain foodstuffs, it is our responsibility to purchase the excess so as not to drive the wholesale price down to the point where the farming community would suffer.
Okay.
Then, under suitable conditions, we distribute it to prisons, school systems, the canal zone, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you for your explanation, Mr. Lund.
Wait a minute.
Oh, please.
Joe.
Look, I just think they ought to get off the dime then, Bart. I mean, all of this doesn't mean anything if the stuff rots. They've had it for 6 months. Remember when I left that chicken sandwich in my locker for 3 days?
Hey, you want my job? You want a truckload of forms to process, 6-day weeks, an office knee-high in bureaucratic sewage? this year, half the Florida citrus has turned into snowballs. Reagan is about to dump a third of my staff, and there is talk now of a new grain embargo. And yesterday, my 14-year-old shaved his head.
Bojo,
Barney.
Just process the complaint, all right?
Yeah, sure. Have a seat, please, Mr. Long.
Thank you.
Can I help you?
I'm Mrs. Wendell Bergendahl. I'm looking for my husband.
He's in there.
He's not mine.
He's the only one we got.
Just a coincidence, I suppose.
Excuse me. Barney. Got a live one.
How come, Captain Miller?
I'm Ruth Bergendahl. My husband's name is Wendell.
Oh, in the cage.
Oh, no, in the paper.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
Well, I'm really not sure it's him. We were separated 3 years ago. He ran off with the neighbor's foreign exchange student.
I see.
I got over it.
Well, good.
I was granted a divorce. I got alimony and his life insurance. So far, I haven't been able to collect on either.
Well, that's,
Life.
yeah.
Well, I called the paper. They told me he was brought over here. Well, if that's not him, maybe I'll get lucky on the other one.
Yeah, keep a good thought.
I really don't know what to do now. Who do I talk to?
Why don't you get on the phone and see if you can get some more information from downtown? Sergeant Dietrich will be glad to help you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, is there some place I could go to freshen up?
No, but we have a bathroom.
Pardon me. Are you really Mrs. Wendell Bergendahl?
Yes.
I never thought there'd ever be a Mrs. Wendell Bergendahl.
Oh, you're not married?
No. I guess I was busy. Well, I hope anyway that you really find them.
Thank you.
You know, nice to meet you.
You too.
You know, just out of curiosity, did he look anything like me?
No, not exactly.
Oh, well, I guess he had to be different somewhere.
Once he told me that he had slept with all the women in our building.
Oh.
It's a high-rise.
Why would he do that? I mean, you seem so nice.
Hold that thought.
You know, Sergeant, I can't help thinking that under different circumstances we could have been friends.
Oh, yeah?
Not that I don't have any friends. I'm sure they call. I'm just out in the field all the time. Look, I understand that there's certain validity to what you're saying, but you don't understand there's nothing I can do about it.
Is that really true?
Who are you?
He's a newspaper reporter.
I mean, if you really feel that way, why don't you just open up the warehouse and start passing it out?
What, to anybody? They don't have any forms.
So give them some.
Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You realize how much time that would take?
Well, for all the time you've been sitting here talking, a few dozen hungry kids could have had something to eat. But don't you think about things like that?
Yes, I think about things like that. What? You don't think I have feelings? You don't think I get frustrated? You don't think there's days I'd like to pitch the book of regulations out the window?
Then why don't you?
Because that would be heroic. I'd like to be a hero. It'd be nice to be a hero. Herb Lund, hero. I'm not a hero, all right?
Anyway, after he left, I was a total mess. If it weren't for the children, I probably would have fallen apart.
Must be nice to have children.
Oh, yes.
I played with some once.
So what sort of work do you do?
Oh, me? Little of this, little of that. I manufacture sleepwear.
Really? For how long?
Let me see. Roughly my whole life.
Must be very exciting.
Keeps me awake.
You
like that?
Of course.
I toss that out at parties all the time. I tell it to everybody, then I leave.
You do?
Yeah. I guess I can never think of anything more to talk about.
I have over 30 negligees.
Hi.
Andy, look.
No, wait a minute. This will just take a minute. I got to talk to my editor. Hello, Lou.
Oh, come on.
I get a lot of that.
We're all set here now, Barney.
Good. We appreciate your cooperation, Mr. Lund.
Captain, I'm only sorry I wasn't better able to accommodate you.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
Right. May I sign something now?
Yes.
Excuse me. That's the Canal Warehouse, right?
Why? Who wants to know?
My editor. Oh, God. Hello, rewrite. Listen, I got some feed for you here.
Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing?
All right, this is it. Uncle Sam hoards drumsticks while cutting welfare to bone. Oh, it writes itself.
You can't do this. They'll be swarming all over the place.
You thought you could only find chicken in supermarkets, but this reporter has some chilling facts.
Will you listen to me? I'll lose my job. I've got a wife. I've got an unbalanced child.
Hey, it's big, I'm telling you, and I'll have it ready for the morning edition.
He's crazy. You got to stop him. I'll press charges.
Hey, First Amendment, freedom of the press. It's the government.
No, and that's only the tip of the iceberg. Hang on. Listen, you said you guys got some butter, too, right?
Nothing. You get nothing out of it.
No, please, look, just trust me, will you? Trust me. You're John Doe.
That's not the point. The point is I have a responsibility to the system, to the people. We have guidelines to adhere to. We have loyalties. We have precepts. We have rules. Peanut butter in New Jersey.
Wait! They got peanut butter.
What am I doing?
You're doing great. Go for it.
Yeah, go on, Mr. Doe.
Canned beets in Rhode Island.
Canned beets.
Raisins in Ohio.
Raisins.
Dry milk. We got dry milk in 20 states.
They got dry milk.
Got enough avocados to fill the Rose Bowl twice.
Avocado!
Water.
Over here.
No, I'm telling you, this comes from an unimpeachable source. Right. Move it. Right. Yeah, oh, look at it. And don't forget the byline. Andrew P. Jessel.
I gotta go. I got butter in Staten Island.
Well, listen. Take care of yourself, Mr. Lund, all right?
Yeah, I think I'll take the ferry. Walk up to the bow and just stand there. Straight. Proud. Looking straight ahead. Just let the wind blow in my face. Then I'm gonna get really sick.
It's funny. I was sort of expecting to see my husband again.
I guess I disappointed you, huh?
Oh, no, I enjoyed
Excuse
talking.
me.
Yes.
The Wendell Bergendahl in the paper was claimed by his sister this morning.
Mine didn't have a sister.
Oh, well, I guess that kills that.
Yes, it does.
I also checked downtown. I got files on a Wendell Bergendahl in Albuquerque, one in Seattle, 2 in Detroit, and 1 in Helena, Montana.
You're kidding.
Were any of them keeping company with a Korean?
I didn't ask.
Oh.
Well, I guess you keep looking for him, huh?
I suppose. I don't even know where Montana is.
I think you go to Colorado and ask. Gotta try another one out on you.
Oh. Bye, Mr. Bergendahl.
Bye, Mrs. Bergendahl. That's kind of a ring to it. Maybe I could call you on the phone. We could, see you sometime.
Or how?
Well, I'm not going to be in here forever.
How long do you figure?
Maybe this afternoon.
What did you do?
I hit somebody.
A woman?
No.
555 4349.
Five 4349. You dog, you.
Junk mail call. Ron?
Thank you.
Hot?
Thank you, Carl.
Of course, the birthday boy.
Thank you.
So it's all downhill from here, huh, sir? Not that it's a short slope or anything.
I get the message. I guess I owe you guys an apology for this morning. You may have noticed my lack of enthusiasm for this date.
No kidding, sir.
When I think about it, it's probably true. I don't want to be reminded that it's all going by so fast,
I understand that, sir. We just thought that by throwing a little party, we might be able to get your mind off of things.
That makes absolutely no sense,
I know, sir.
But I'm grateful for the gesture in any case. However, I would appreciate it if we just forgot about the calendar and got back to some business, huh?
Oh, gotcha.
Sure.
Your present, sir. I didn't say from who.
Hey, that's really nice.
There's more, sir.
Oh. All right, any hints?
Well, it's not your kilts.
From the desk of Barney Melnick.
That's not what I told them.
Didn't you look at it when you picked them up?
They were already wrapped.
It's okay. I can take them back.
All right, Mr. Miser, want to tell me exactly what happened?
Everything.
Anything else?
Well, it's just that I woke up this morning alone. It was a little foggy outside. Looked like rain. So I figured today is the day to drive into the city and pick up my one ticket for Piaf.
Okay.
My wife took a hike.
I know, you told me. She's in Florida.
Oh. Anyway, I'm standing in that line waiting for the box office to open, thinking, life is sludge. And then this punk walks up to me, sticks a knife in my gut and says, "Pardonnez-moi, Porky, but this is a ripoff."
That way you went and grabbed the lady's purse?
Hey, that's the way it's done here. I'm not entitled?
No!
Told you all that it's still out on that burglary call?
Mm-hmm.
You working on anything in particular?
You got to do better than that, Barn.
File these.
Much better.
Is this our mugger Muggy?
Yeah, Edward Myers, Paramus, New Jersey.
I needed money to get home. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Stupid parking lots running me $10 an hour. Plus, I didn't have money for gas, bridges, toll booths. Some lunch would have been nice.
You mean to tell me there was no one you could contact in town? Business associates? Family? Friends?
Sure, that's it. Keep punching.
Barn, there's a disturbance in progress over on Bleecker.
You and Dietrich.
Go, Arthur.
Come on, Mr. Myers, in the cage. I'll get it. Oh, Precinct Captain Miller speaking. What? Is he dead? All right, keep me posted.
Barney?
Levitt. What? Guy tried to hold up a liquor store. Wojda you how to shoot him.
Did he speak French?
Folks, come on. You want to step inside here,
Look,
please?
I don't care about me. I want my wife left out of this.
Joseph, lower your voice.
Thank you, Emily.
Right here. Barn, you want to give a rousing squad room welcome to Joseph and Emily Loftus, our disturbance? And here's Captain Miller.
Oh, Captain.
All right, we got to the Wainwright Private Academy for Boys, where Mr. Loftus was in the process of assaulting Mr. Kingsbury, director of admissions.
I told him to take his snotty school and stuff it.
Yeah, Barn, apparently Joe and Em here were righteously indignant when they heard that son Jeffrey's enrollment application had been turned down.
Look, they said my son was below their standards. He didn't measure up.
Jeffrey was so devastated. He soiled himself.
Master Loftus will be 4 next month.
You see, Captain Wainwright is the most prestigious nursery school in the entire city. Kissinger has a nephew there.
Scholarship? Anyway, when Mr. Kingsbury diplomatically attempted to ease them off the premises, some harsh words were exchanged on the playground, and then a scuffle ensued.
He put his hands on me. Nobody puts their hands on me.
Joseph?
Almost. All right, we're going to need some statements, Mr.
Captain,
Loftus.
my husband and I were simply looking out for our son's best interest. He's our first.
That's nice.
I mean, if we fail to place him in Wainwright, what decent kindergarten would even consider him at all? And then the finer secondary and prep schools would be completely out of sight.
Harvard would laugh in his face. He's 4 years old. Sure. Now.
Want to have a seat? Don't touch me.
Joseph, sit down.
Come on, Joey. In the corner. Come on.
Mrs. Loftus. Over there, please.
Thank you.
Sir, I'm back.
Where's Wojo?
Oh, sir, enough of me. Sergeant Wojciechowicz is currently at Bellevue with the wounded party in question, sir.
What happened?
Well, when we got to the liquor store, we found one, Victor Rinaldi, armed and apparently in a drug-induced haze.
And?
When we identified ourselves as police officers, Rinaldi turned and popped off a round past Wojo's head. Sergeant had no choice but to return the fire.
Bad?
Nah, just merely grazed the hoodlum's shoulder, that's all, sir.
Well, forgive him for that anyway.
Sir, I might also mention that I gathered complete and comprehensive statements from all witnesses, thereby fulfilling my obligation towards the department's new and stricter guidelines regarding the duty-related discharge of an officer's firearm.
Did you read Wojo's rights?
Maybe.
Levitt, that's the regulation.
Oh, but, sir, from where I sit, that particular aspect of the new directive just seems a little silly, not to mention awkward.
And I agree. However, the regulation is quite clear. That from the moment an officer uses deadly force, he is subject to departmental investigation. And as such, until he is cleared of any wrongdoing, he is entitled to the same rights, the same protections as any other,
criminal?
Thank you.
Sorry. Thanks.
I'm Sergeant Harris. Can I help you?
Officer Raymond Wayman, New York City Police Department, Legal Department. I'm a cop and a lawyer.
Oh, I like you already.
Sergeant, I'm David Fingler, Marshall Levinson, Radcliffe, and Cohen. Our law firm is currently on retainer with the Sergeants Benevolent Association.
Captain Miller, can I help you?
Officer
Yes.
Raymond Wayman, attorney at law. I'm with the department's legal department.
Pleasure. And you are?
David Fingler, Captain. I'm here to represent Sergeant Wojciechowicz in regard to the alleged shooting incident this morning.
Okay, Victor, come on. Go, not in there. Come on.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
You sure you got all the spiders off my back? Yeah. I got them all over here. Hey, Barney. This is Victor Rinaldi, the guy I shot. Don't get up.
Sergeant, as your legal counsel, I would strongly advise you not to make any further comments unless so advised by me.
Who are you?
I just told you.
Sergeant Wojciechowicz.
Yeah?
Officer Raymond Wayman, legal.
He's a cop and a lawyer.
Well, what's going on?
Just the new procedure, Wojo. They have to investigate the shooting.
No, this guy's all right.
That's an opinion.
Well, I mean, he might be a little dusted, but the doctor says
Sergeant,
he's coming down fine.
I wouldn't...
And his arm is okay.
Oh, Captain, didn't anybody around here read this guy his rights?
I'm going, sir.
Hey, Barney. What is
You
this all
have the right to remain silent. You have the right to refuse to answer any questions.
No, I'll answer questions.
Anything you say may be taken down and used against you in a court of law. You have the right to consult an attorney before speaking to the police.
Hey, what do we do? Here I am.
Okay, Sergeant. Why don't you just have a seat, make yourself comfortable, take a moment to collect your thoughts, and then we'll begin.
Okay.
Sergeant, you realize this inquiry is strictly informal.
But before we begin, it's always been my policy, in circumstances such as this, to break the ice a little and have everyone tell a little bit about each other. Each other, of course, meaning ourselves.
Gentlemen, can we get on with this, please?
Thank you, Barney.
Certainly.
I'm Sergeant Harris. Can I help you?
Gordon Wendell, headmaster, Wainwright Private Academy for Boys.
Oh. Are we missing our nap time?
Yes. At any rate, they told me downstairs you've been watching a Mr. and Mrs. Loftus for us.
Yes, they're right over there.
Okie dokie. Mrs. Loftus?
Oh, Mr. Wendell. It's nice to see you again.
Of course. Anyway, I was relaxing in my study, curled up with a little Dickens and some Think and Do books, when I received word that you and your husband had pummeled our Mr. Kingsbury into a quivering mess of bruised flesh. I had to send him home.
Good.
You know, proud, adoring parents such as yourselves, abrim with high hopes and lofty aspirations for their little man, for whatever reason, well, I mean, it's only natural to become a bit embittered, disillusioned, even hurt upon learning one's marginal toddler just can't cut the mustard. Wainwright style.
Did you or did you not have your weapon drawn and at the ready before you needed it?
No.
Oh? Why not?
What the hell kind of a question is that?
It's German.
Germaine!
Okay. Forgive me, Mr. Fancy Law Firm.
Gentlemen.
Hey, I spent 16 stinking years out there in the front lines. Sport. I know what goes down out there. Like what? Things.
Gentlemen, aren't we digressing a little?
Captain, I am merely trying to explain to my distinguished civilian colleague that, at least in my estimation, for a cop to go strolling into a potentially dangerous situation without his revolver drawn and loaded for bear, well, he's gotta be nuts.
I see. And I take it the department sanctions that position?
No! At least, not lately.
Because, gentlemen, I think it's fairly apparent to all of us that this man, Sergeant Wojciechowicz, performed his duties this morning admirably by showing discretion, the proper restraint, and, I might add, no small measure of compassion. Right?
What the hell do you know?
Huh?
I was trying to blow the guy away. You stupid twerp. The only reason I did was he was so stoned he couldn't stand up.
Sergeant, we're hardly finished here.
Well, that's too bad.
Whoa, Joe.
It's always happens.
He went that away.
Wonderful.
So, everything go okay?
Captain Miller.
Yes, officer?
Anyway, in light of the fact that the sergeant took it upon himself to remove himself from the proceedings, I feel I am compelled to consider this inquiry closed for now.
Fine.
That okay with you?
Sure.
I will, however, have no choice but to mention the sergeant's little tantrum as an addendum to my official report.
Can't wait to read it.
I bet. Goodbye, Captain.
Officer?
Well, Captain, as for me, if there's nothing else, I guess I can just head back to the office.
Fine.
Big day in court tomorrow.
Good luck.
I'm getting divorced.
Bye, Mr. Finger.
After you, Counselor.
Goodbye, Mr. Loftus, Mrs. Loftus. No hard feelings.
Right.
You know, it occurs to me that even though Wainwright is and shall remain completely out of the question, you might want to consider the Tick-Tock Day School over on Amsterdam. They'll take anybody.
Cram it.
I get a lot of that.
Bail call. I got a bail ticket for a Loftus, Joseph M.
That's us.
I know that.
Okay, Joey. You'll just step over to the desk here and sign for your valuables. You'll be free to go.
Well, it looks like we'll be home in time for dinner. Both of us.
That doesn't happen very often.
Right. Look, Emily, I'm really sorry about
No, it's okay. Actually, the Tick-Tock Day School does have a certain ring to it.
Okay. We'll check it out.
Mr. Loftus?
Just a minute, Sergeant. Well, Joseph, it's just that in thinking about this morning, picturing you rolling around on the blacktop, wrestling with that despicable and considerably younger man, jumping to the aid of your only son, and me, I just can't help but feel a little proud. Aroused.
Where? Right there. You are?
Thanks.
Let's go home, Joseph. We've got things to do.
She's the boss.
It's okay, they're gone.
That's good.
Well, Joe?
Brian? I had to get some air. But I'm back.
Yeah, I noticed.
So what was the verdict?
Well, it was not the ideal way to adjourn the proceedings, but I foresee no major problems.
Oh, good. Thanks.
So, you ready to talk about it?
Not really.
Oh. Okay.
Sure, let's just drop it. Yeah, anybody could have taken the call, right?
Right.
But I'm the guy that shot someone.
You only did what you had to do.
Anyway, look, the guy's all right.
Well, big deal. The guy you shot was all right, too.
Yeah?
Well, that didn't stop us from being supportive.
Wojo, man, look, we're sorry. I mean, we didn't know.
How could you know? I was so busy getting jerked around in Barney's office. I'm not blaming you, Barney. I'm not blaming anybody. It's just it's the way the events of today seem to just lose their natural order. I don't know. I feel like I was denied something.
This.
Yeah. Yeah, so. Thanks.
Hey, anytime.
Glad I could help.
Want to talk some more? I'll be in my office.
Maybe later. Hey. Did you do this?
if you don't count me, sir. I assume you weren't.
Levitt, that's not what I meant.
Forgive me, sir. I wouldn't presume to put words in your mouth.
I was inquiring as to the disposition of our fellow officers.
Excellent choice of words, sir. Wojo and Harris rushed over to a disturbance in an office on Park. They asked me to cover, and Sergeant Dietrich called and said he'd be a little late.
Thank you.
And how's Mrs. Miller?
Fine, thank you.
And all the little Millers?
Hardly little anymore, I'm afraid.
They do grow up, don't they, sir?
They certainly do. Certainly do.
Of course, I'm only going by what I hear, not being blessed with a brood of my own.
Well, that's a pity.
It's by choice, sir. I deny myself the love, warmth, and companionship of a family until I reach a higher rung of my chosen profession.
That's really not necessary, Levitt. I mean, I was still in blues when I had my first.
An accident of passion, sir.
Morning.
Good morning, Dietrich.
Sorry I'm late.
It's okay.
You're not going to ask me why?
If I felt an explanation was necessary, I would ask for one.
Yeah, but you always ask Wojo. I think I'm entitled to the same consideration.
All right, why were you late?
My alarm clock didn't go off. Wasn't worth the trouble, was it?
Hey, Mr. Croner, just step inside.
Yeah, but I get to make that phone call now, right?
Yes, you can call your lawyer.
I want to call my mother.
Got here.
Erwin Croner, he's an actor. Hit his agent in the head with a telephone.
You might say he reached out and touched someone.
The guy wouldn't take my phone calls. And then he wouldn't return them. He'd put me on hold, and then he'd never get off the line.
Well, it's provocative, I'll admit, but hardly justifies assault.
Oh, look, I didn't mean to hit him. I only wanted him to phone this producer about a part for me. But he vacillated, so I insistently offered him the phone, and I chipped his tooth.
I see.
And cut his lip. And his eye.
The agent is one Harold Lipkin. He's on his way to Bellevue. Get stitches?
And he's coming down here to press charges.
All right.
Well, precinct, Sergeant Dietrich.
You're lucky Mr. Lipkin isn't a cop. He wouldn't take the call.
All right, we'll be right there. 2 guys and a beef in the parks. Doesn't sound like much.
Take Levitt.
Figures.
Sergeant Wojciechowicz will take your statement.
Oh, look, I better not say any more until I talk to my mom.
Okay. We may have to put you on hold.
Very good.
You look really familiar to me. Have I ever seen you act?
Yeah. Probably have. I'm little Corky Carter.
The kid actor?
Star at 10, has been at 11.
What happened?
Puberty. My voice changed. I grew 1.5 feet in a year, and hair came out on my arm. I was finished.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, forget it.
Well, you were really good.
Pardon me.
Yes, ma'am. May I help you?
I'm looking for Sergeant Arthur Dietrich.
He's out on a call, but I'm Sergeant Harris.
How do you do?
Apparently not as well as Arthur, but I managed. Can I be of help?
Oh, this isn't police business. Oh, no, it's a social call.
I had a feeling. That's his desk, and he should be back soon if you'd care to wait.
Thank you. I'd like to freshen up. Is there a ladies' room?
When there's a lady in it. Could I take your bags?
Well, thank you.
Sorry to put you through so much trouble.
It's all right.
I get it.
Don't worry about it.
Mr. DeLuca?
Hello, Sergeant.
Come on, not again.
This time I'm arrested.
What do we got here? You remember Mr. DeLuca, our good Samaritan? Went to the aid of a lady in distress, got himself mugged?
Ah, yes, Mr. DeLuca. Nice to see you again.
Mr. Felch claimed he was sitting in the park eating a hot dog when Mr. DeLuca attacked him.
What? Well, he's mistaken because he was choking.
Where's Felch? Dietrich?
Huh?
Where's Mr. Felch?
Oh, he's got a couple of broken ribs. He's in emergency.
You broke his ribs?
Well, I used the Heimlich maneuver. It's the only way to save a choker. A quick jerk below the rib cage forces air up through the windpipe and dislodges the obstruction. If I may show you...
I'm familiar with the maneuver. That's it? Dietrich?
Huh?
That's the whole story?
What?
That Mr. DeLuca may have saved Mr. Felch's life.
Yeah.
Broken ribs are always a risk when the Heimlich maneuver is used. But most people prefer that to death.
All right, we'll try and straighten this out when Mr. Felch gets here. In the meantime, make yourself at home.
Thanks.
Hello, Arthur.
Hello. Where'd you come from?
I was in the neighborhood.
What a coincidence. So was I.
Oh, I find that embarrassing.
It's kind of touching myself.
I bet he's got his eyes open.
Well, how nice to see you after...
Yeah.
What?
14 years?
14 years.
It was the last weekend of the Columbia riots, right?
Yeah, weren't we the activists, though? What a weekend.
Yeah. We certainly were. Active.
Yeah.
Cynthia, this is Sergeant Wojciechowicz.
Hi.
Sergeant Harris.
We've met.
Norman DeLuca.
Erwin Kroner. Formerly Little Corky Carter.
This is Captain Miller. Cynthia Reese.
Miss Reese?
Well, actually, it's Mrs. Barrow now.
Oh, right.
I sent you a wedding invitation.
I sent you a toaster.
Old acquaintances, I take it.
Uh-huh. Our salad days.
Arthur and I shared a room in a motel off campus.
Oh.
Yeah, well, it wasn't exactly a Waldorf salad.
We were all so surprised when Arthur became a policeman. At med school, he was voted most likely to succeed.
Kind of assumed that.
I was just sure by now that you'd be in research, doing wonderful things with parts of the human body.
Well, in my own small way.
Captain, would you care for a cup of coffee?
That's tea.
Well, that's for Sergeant Harris.
Try and stop him.
Mrs. Barrow?
Yes, that would be nice.
Make it 2. 1 black, 1 sugar. Black, no sugar.
Correct.
I'll bring it to your desk.
Thanks. Come on, have a seat.
Thank you.
Excuse me. I'm Mrs. Krona.
Oh, you must be Corky's mom.
Where is he?
He's behind you in the cage.
In the cage? Oh, my darling. Oh, how could you lock him up like an animal? Oh, a boy with his credits.
Well, that's the rules.
There's an older rule, the law of nature. You do not separate a mother and her child.
No, ma'am.
Well, then either let him out or let me in. I cannot talk to him through those bars. I am not Betty Davis.
This won't hurt.
Here we go. I'll have clean cups in a few minutes.
So, after Eddie graduated, we got married. He's an anesthesiologist now.
Great.
I just wanted you to know that I am very happily married.
Perfect.
And that coming up here today to see you was an impulse. For old time's sake.
I appreciate it.
I just wouldn't want you to misunderstand.
Come on, we're two old friends. Ships are passing the night. Hands across the sea. How about lunch?
Well, I wouldn't want to take up too much of your time.
What, lunch? Quick drink, quick sandwich.
I'd love it. Oh,
No, you can leave the packages.
okay.
Out to lunch.
Have a good time.
It's, see, 12:35. Be back, sometime today. Or not.
Do you remember when you were 7 years old and you did that wonderful scene in jail where they took your big brother to the electric chair? Oh, how you cried. You were just marvelous. And the whole world cried when you cried.
Ma, I cried after the director told me you got hit by a streetcar and that you died in the ambulance on the way to the hospital and I was never going to see you again. Then he stuck me with a pin.
Anyone for a refill?
No, thank you. Captain, I couldn't help noticing that your plants seem to be dying. Oh? If you like, I could talk to them for you. People say I have a green tongue.
Bart, there's a Mr. Felch here about Mr. DeLuca.
Oh, fine. We, see if we can take care of this. Mr. Felch?
That's him. That's the guy.
Take it easy, take it easy. I'm, Captain Miller.
I'd shake your hand, but I got 2 cracked ribs.
Well, I was trying to help.
Yeah, trying to help yourself to my wallet.
Mr. Felch, I think you may have misinterpreted Mr. DeLuca's actions.
What's to misinterpret? I get something caught in my throat. Next thing I know, this creep over here's got a bear hug on me and puts his fist through my stomach.
But that's the way it's done. Mr. Felch, have you ever heard of the Heimlich maneuver?
Sure. Crouch pulled it in 43.
The Heimlich maneuver is a method of saving a choking victim. You see, Mr. DeLuca saw that you were having difficulty.
Oh, come on, huh? Where do I sign the complaint?
I assure you, Mr. DeLuca was only trying to help.
Look, all I know is I'm in a lot of pain and I want to get out of here. So can we get on with this thing?
I'm afraid Sergeant Harris is going to have to book you.
I understand.
The man has a wooden leg.
Have you seen it?
Just have a seat, huh?
Hello again. Harold Lipton.
Ah, yes. The agent.
Over here, I've seen Mr. Lipton.
Ingrate.
I see you've got the right person behind bars.
Oh, you got a nerve talking like that. You have lived off Corky's flesh, blood, and talent until all he's got left is his carcass.
Carcass?
No, it's just a figure of speech.
Well, then don't call me a carcass.
Hemlock maneuver. That's a good one. I mean, who do you think you're dealing with here? Some yokel who just got off the farm? Let me tell you something. I've spent 25 years in this city, and I know all about people. Nobody does nothing for nobody but themselves. Yeah, you're right. I'm a little cynical. So excuse me for not believing in Tinkerbell. Let me get this straight. You're saying that you saw me in trouble, so you came over for no reason, with nothing in it for you, and saved my life. Yes? You're sick!
Mr. Felch.
I don't believe him. Do you believe him?
I believe him. Sign, right here.
A man is walking in a park, minding his own business, when all of a sudden, for no reason, he decides to save someone's life. Right?
Right. Sign, right here.
Hey, don't rush me, all right?
Felch, you gonna sign the complaint or not?
Maybe yes, maybe no.
Mr. Felch.
Forget it. I changed my mind.
All right. Come on, you're free to go.
What's happening to people?
Come on, Mr. DeLuca. You're free to go, too.
If you're sure I can't be any more help up here?
Oh, Mr. DeLuca, just go home. And look, remember, there's an old Chinese proverb. Save a man's life and he'll never forgive you.
That doesn't make sense.
Hey, I'm not Chinese. They're supposed to be damn clever.
Okay, Mr. Lipton. You gonna sign it or not?
I will not let you send my son to prison.
I'd be doing him a favor. The environment would be an improvement.
Oh, kill a mother. When all else fails, kill a mother.
You face it. The only reason Corky was a star was because he was a cute kid. But he's no actor. Kids don't act. They laugh. They cry. Their noses run a little. Cute. You know what I mean?
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. You are going to be a star, just like you were before, in spite of parasites like him.
Will you leave him alone already? Do you see what she does to him? Shirley Temple doesn't tap dance anymore. She's an ambassador. Jackie Cooper put away his lower lip. He's a captain in the Navy, for God's sake.
Mickey Rooney is still a star.
He's just lucky he hasn't grown 1 inch. You think I haven't tried to get him parts? I've tried.
Lipton, do you want to sign the complaint?
No, I didn't come down here to put him in jail. I came down to talk sense.
Okay, then I can let him out.
Good. Let him out. Keep her.
Can't do that, Mr. Lipkin. She's not under arrest.
Under arrest. Oh, I could be if I did what I want to you. Parasite.
Thank you. From you, that's a compliment.
A compliment.
Stage
Don't
mother. That's what you
misinterpret
are.
the whole
A
thing
stage
because
mother
you'll
to a
never
grown
get
man.
Will
you two shut up already, the both of you?
Now, see what you've done? You've upset Corky.
I'm not Corky, Ma. I'm Irwin. I'm not going to be a star again, Ma. That's over.
Oh, no, now don't you talk like that.
I'm not an actor. I never wanted to be an actor. That's what you wanted.
You were gorgeous.
Ma, you never once asked me what I wanted to be, did you? Ever once? Ask me.
Ask you.
Ask me what I want to be.
What do you want to be?
A truck driver, a real person. I want to be the guy that sits high in the cab of one of those big semis, you know, roaring across the highways and byways of America. I want to be in control of all that power in my own two hands. I want to be in control of my own destiny, Ma. I want to see real people in real places. When I talk into a mic, Ma, I want it to be into one of them CB radios, you know, talking to my good buddy. Saying things I want to say, not what some hack wrote. And Ma, what I want to say is, the hell with show business.
You kidding me?
Erwin, I'm going to help you.
You are?
Yes. I've got a cousin in the trucking business in Jersey. I'm going to talk to him.
You believe me, Ma? You believe me? You see that? You believe me, Mr. Lipkin? That was a good performance, huh?
No. That's why I'm going to get you a job as a truck driver.
But I don't even have a driver's license, Mr. Lipkin. I don't understand. Thought that was pretty good.
Had me going.
You were marvelous.
Ma, he didn't believe me.
I believed you. I will always believe in you.
Ma, I don't want to drive a truck.
The lunch was marvelous. Impeccably prepared, beautifully served.
Well, it's a very popular place. We were lucky we got stools.
I loved it. I will say, however, I think the tour was a little depressing.
Well, I just thought you might like to see the guts of a police station. Everybody should. The way things are going, I think everybody will.
Well, it's getting late.
Only 4:15.
It was really lovely to see you again, Artie.
Lovely is the word.
We'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah.
Bye. Thanks.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah. May I give Eddie your best?
I think he's already got it. Sorry about the long lunch. Yeah. Charming girl. Could have been. Look, I've always insisted on being the best at whatever I did. I could have been a good doctor, but I knew I wouldn't be the best doctor in the world. I could have been a good lawyer or a good husband, but I knew I wouldn't be the best. That's why I became a cop. Well,
he turned back into the flat, his mind already spinning with new ideas, new angles, new ways to turn the world in his favor. Because Derek Trotter wasn't just a salesman, he was a survivor. And as long as there was a deal to be made, a story to be told, and a brother to argue with, he was exactly where he belonged. "Good night, Peckham," he said, closing the balcony door. "Sleep well, because tomorrow the Phoenix is going to do some shopping." Chapter 21, Meeting Nervous Nick. The rendezvous point was a derelict garage in a part of Bermondsey that even the rats avoided. The air smelled of damp cardboard and secrets. Dell adjusted his camel hair coat, trying to look like a high-level procurement officer rather than a man who had just spent his last tenner on petrol. Rodney followed, his eyes darting toward every shadow. Dell, I really don't like this. Nervous Nick is called nervous for a reason, usually because he's about to be arrested. He's just high-strung, Rodney, Dell whispered. Genius often is. A man emerged from behind a stack of rusted oil drums. He was twitching so violently that his glasses were barely staying on his nose. This was Nervous Nick. You got the money? Nick stammered, his eyes scanning the empty street. I've got the backing of a major international syndicate, Nick, Dell said, patting his empty chest pocket. But first, we see the gear, the lasers. Nick led them to a crate covered in a greasy tarpaulin. With a flourish that sent his hat flying, he pulled it back. Inside were rows of sleek, silver cylinders with blinking red lights. There they are, Nick whispered. Laser guided, high precision, straight from a high-tech facility in the north. Rodney leaned in, looking at a cylinder. Dell, these look like industrial barcode scanners. Shh, Dell hissed. They're diagnostic tools. Rodney, diagnostic. Nick, how many have you got? 50 units. Take 'em now for $5,000, and I'll throw in the cables. Dell looked at Rodney, his eyes wide with greed. Rodney, at $5,000, that's only £100 a unit. We sell 'em to a private clinic for $500 each, and we've wiped out half the debt in a weekend. Dell, we haven't got $5,000, Rodney cried. We have, if we use our contingency fund, Dell said, avoiding Rodney's gaze. You mean the money Raquel was saving for Damien's school uniform? It's an investment. Rodney, Damien will have a uniform made of gold by the time we're finished. Chapter 22, The Master's Pitch. Boyke sat in his garden, a glass of expensive-looking champagne in one hand and a cigar the size of a small tree in the other. He looked at Dell and Rodney as if they were a particularly unconvincing set of garden gnomes. So, Derek, Boyke drawled, his voice a nasal symphony of condescension. I hear you've been appearing on television. A very moving performance. I especially like the bit where you lost 50,000 pounds because you didn't know your classics. It was a technicality. Boyke, Dell shot back, trying to keep his cool. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about show business. I'm here to offer you a piece of the future. He opened a small briefcase to reveal one of the silver cylinders. Boyke leaned forward, squinting. And what exactly is this? A very expensive pencil case. It's a laser-guided pathological scanner. Boyke, Dell said, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. Straight from the R&D labs in Switzerland. It can detect anything from a common cold to a midlife crisis. Boyke picked it up, weighing it. It looks remarkably like a checkout scanner from a supermarket in Croydon. That's the clever part. Dell beamed. It's built into a familiar casing to prevent patient anxiety. High tech. Low stress. These are going to be in every private hospital in London by Christmas. I've got the exclusive distribution rights. Rodney cleared his throat. Well, technically, Trotter's Independent Traders is the sole procurement agent. Boyke let out a short, sharp laugh that sounded like a seagull choking on a chip. Healthcare, Derek, you can't even diagnose a leak in your own radiator. I'm talking about the margins, Boyke. Dell urged. 30% return in 30 days. Guaranteed. Boyke put the cylinder back. I'll tell you what, Dell, I'll take 10 of them at £100 each. Not a penny more. Dell's face fell. 100? Boyke, I paid more than that myself. Then you're even more of a dipstick than I thought, Boyke said, standing up. Now, if you'll excuse me, Marlene is calling. We're having a very expensive lunch. Chapter 23, The Laser Reveal. Back at the flat, the living room was filled with silver cylinders. Rodney was sitting on the floor, surrounded by instruction manuals that were written entirely in what appeared to be simplified Chinese. Dell, Rodney said, his voice trembling. I found the translation for the model number. Dell, who was busy trying to buff the Made in China stickers off the cylinders, didn't look up. And, does it say precision medical tool? No, Rodney said, standing up. It says industrial poultry sexer. Dell froze. A what? A poultry sexer. Dell, it's a laser tool used in high-speed chicken factories to determine if a chick is a boy or a girl. Dell stared at the cylinder in his hand. He pressed the button, and a tiny red laser beam shot out, hitting a picture of Uncle Albert on the wall. But it's laser-guided, Nick said. Nick is a conman. Dell, we've spent Damien's uniform money on 50 machines that tell you if a chicken is a rooster. The silence in the flat was absolute. Then, from the hallway, came the sound of Raquel's keys in the door. Oh, no, Rodney whispered. Dell, if she sees these, she's going to sex us both with a rolling pin. Quick, under the sofa, Dell hissed. They spent the next 10 minutes frantically shoving silver cylinders under the furniture, just as Raquel walked in. Hello, boys, she said, looking around suspiciously. Why is everything moved? And why is there a red dot on Uncle Albert's nose? It's a new security system, sweetheart, Dell said, sweating. Trotter Tech Security. We're testing the perimeter. Raquel sighed. Dell, please tell me you haven't bought more junk. Junk? Raquel. This is the future. Chicken. I mean, security is the future. Chapter 24, Domestic Turbulence. The fallout from the laser deal was swift and painful. Raquel discovered the cylinders within 48 hours, mostly because the cat had learned how to trigger the lasers, turning the living room into a low-budget disco. 50 poultry sexers. Derek, Raquel yelled, her voice echoing through the tower block. We could have bought Damien a new wardrobe. We could have paid the rent for 3 months. It's an emerging market. Raquel, Del pleaded, cowering behind the armchair. The organic chicken industry is booming. Everyone wants to know the gender of their poultry. Rodney was no help either. He had taken to wearing his Spartacus tunic around the flat as a form of silent protest. If anyone needs me, Rodney said, walking through the kitchen with a wooden spoon, I'll be in the Coliseum or the local job center. Oh, shut up, you tart, Del snapped. I'm working on a pivot, a business pivot. He retreated to the balcony, the one place he could think. He looked out over Peckham and saw Boyke's Mercedes driving past far below. He knew Boyke was laughing at him. He knew everyone was. But as he looked at the silver cylinder in his hand, an idea began to form. It was a crazy idea, a stupid idea, a trotter idea. Rodney, Del shouted, bursting back into the room. I've got it. We don't sell M to farmers. We sell M to the entertainment industry. The what? Laser tag, Rodney. We market M as pro-level laser tag kits for high-end corporate away days. We tell M it's a tactical training tool used by the SAS. Rodney looked at the poultry sexer. He looked at Del. For a second, a spark of the old madness returned to his eyes. Tactical training for corporate away days? Exactly. Trotter Tactical. It's a new branch of the company. Chapter 25. The Phoenix prepares to fly. It was Friday night at the Nag's Head. Del stood at the bar, a silver cylinder tucked into his waistband like a futuristic weapon. All right, Trig, Del said, nodding at his friend. All right, Del, what's that on your hip? A fancy new torch. It's a tactical marking device, Trig, Del said, winking. Standard issue for the elite squads. I'm organizing a tournament next weekend. 20 quid an entry. Winner gets a bottle of my finest champagne. Sounds dangerous, Trigger said, looking impressed. Can I be the referee? You're hired, Del beamed. He looked across the bar and saw Rodney talking to a group of young city types who had wandered in from the more gentrified parts of town. Rodney was gesturing wildly with an electronic personal organizer and a silver cylinder. And the beauty of the Trotter tactical system, Rodney was saying, his voice filled with newfound confidence, is the haptic feedback. It's so precise it's practically clinical. Del watched his brother and felt a surge of pride. They were back in the game. They weren't millionaires, yet they weren't even thousandaires, but the wheels were turning. The yellow van was still outside, the debt was still there, and they were still the Trotters. I'll fetch the suitcase from the van, Del whispered to himself, a small, knowing smile on his face. Because in Peckham, the seasons might change and the tides might turn, but a trotter always has one more card to play. Mange tout, Rodney, Dell muttered, raising his glass of cognac. Mange tout. Chapter 26, The Peckham Open. The communal hallway of Nelson Mandela House had been transformed into what Dell called an urban combat theater. In reality, it was a collection of empty cardboard boxes, discarded washing machines, and several miles of yellow tactical tape that Dell had acquired from a confused road worker. Right then, listen up, Dell shouted, standing on a crate of bottled water. He was wearing a headband made from an old tie and a camouflage vest that was clearly 3 sizes too small. Welcome to the inaugural Peckham Open. This is where the men are separated from the boys, and the boys are marked for life by high-intensity poultry sexing technology. The participants were a diverse group. There was Trigger, wearing a high-visibility jacket for no apparent reason, Denzel, who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else, Mickey Pierce, who had actually brought his own camouflage face paint, and 3 bewildered accountancy students that Rodney had lured in from the local library. The rules are simple, Rodney added, trying to maintain an air of professional authority despite the Spartacus tunic he was still stubbornly wearing. If you get hit by a laser, you're out. The scanner will emit a high-pitched beep to signify a confirmed mark. Actually, one of the students noted, the device is emitting a chirping sound and the screen says pull it. That's a tactical code. Dell interjected quickly. Pull it means point under lethal laser engagement target. Now, let the games begin. He blew a whistle, and the hallway erupted into chaos. Trigger immediately took cover behind a recycling bin and accidentally scanned himself, resulting in a series of frantic beeps that informed the entire floor he was a great cockerel. Chapter 27, Friendly Fire. The battle raged for 30 minutes. Mickey Pierce was surprisingly agile, diving over boxes and tagging anyone who moved. However, the machine's original programming began to interfere with the combat simulation. Denzel yelled, pinned down behind a sofa. My gun keeps saying I'm underweight. It won't fire. Shake it, Denzel. It's the haptic feedback calibrating. Dell yelled back while trying to flank the accounting students. The chaos reached its peak when the hallway door opened and an elderly neighbor, Mrs. Jittings, walked in carrying a bag of shopping. Excuse me, Derek, she said, looking at the camouflage-clad men rolling around on the floor. The lift is broken again. Not now, Mrs. Jittings, Dell hissed, peeking out from behind a washing machine. Can't you see we're in the middle of a high-stakes tactical exercise? Suddenly, a red laser dot appeared on Mrs. Jittings' forehead. Mickey Pierce had made his move. The device let out a triumphant chirp. Target identified, Mickey shouted. Confirmed mark. Mrs. Jittings looked at the screen of Mickey's device. It says ready for slaughter. What does that mean, Derek? It's a metaphor, Mrs. Jittings. Rodney cried, running over to apologize. It just means you've won the round. Congratulations. He frantically gestured for everyone to stop. The first Peckham Open had officially descended into a neighborhood relations disaster. Chapter 28, The Boyke Intervention. I must say, Derek, a familiar, mocking voice drawled from the entrance. The Sass really have let their standards slip. Boyke was standing at the edge of the theater, leaning against the doorframe and looking profoundly unimpressed. Beside him, Marlene was stifling a laugh. "Ah, Boyke," Dell said, standing up and trying to look dignified while covered in dust and tactical tape. "Good to see you. We're just finishing up a demonstration of the Trotter tactical system. High-level stuff. We've got interest from several private security firms." Boyke walked over to a discarded poultry sexer and picked it up. And how exactly is this supposed to secure anything other than a local supply of eggs? It's the psychological impact, Boyke, Dell insisted. The red dot, the chirping. It strikes fear into the hearts of the enemy. It strikes fear into the hearts of anyone with a basic understanding of electronics. Boyke laughed. "I'll tell you what, Dell, I've got a lot of scrap metal at the yard. If you want to dump these there, I'll give you a $5 for the lot." "A $5? Boyke, I've got 30 entries at 20 quid each. That's 600 pounds in one afternoon." "Minus the cost of the tape," Rodney whispered, "and the repairs to Mrs. Jittings' dignity." "Ignore him," Dell snapped. "The phoenix is rising, Boyke, whether you like it or not." Chapter 29, The Accounting. That night, the flat was quiet. The cardboard boxes had been cleared, and the poultry sexers were back under the sofa. Rodney sat at the table with the gold Rush 1-pound coin, spinning it slowly. 600 pounds, Dell, Rodney said. "It's a start, but we still owe over 48,000. Dell sat across from him, sipping a glass of cheap brandy. He looked tired, but the spark in his eyes hadn't faded. Rome wasn't built in a day, Rodney, and the Trotter Empire won't be rebuilt in a weekend. But we're moving. We're trading. I was thinking about what you said on the balcony," Rodney said. "About Mom. Do you really think she'd be proud of us, rolling around in a hallway with chicken grating machines?" Dell looked at the picture of their mother on the mantelpiece. "She'd be proud that we never gave up, Rodney. She knew what it was like to struggle. She knew that sometimes you have to be a bit creative to survive." He reached out and stopped the coin. It was heads. "See," Dell smiled. "The gods of commerce are smiling on us again. This time next year. Millionaires," Rodney finished for him. This time, he didn't say it with a sigh. He said it with a small, cautious hope. Chapter 30, Final Reflection. The yellow van sat in its usual spot outside Nelson Mandela House, a defiant splash of color against the gray concrete. It had survived the crash of the 90s, the loss of millions, and the indignity of being used to transport 50 poultry sexers. Inside the flat, Raquel was putting Danny into bed. Cassandra was finally laughing about the policewoman incident, and Dell was already planning a trip to a car boot sale in Margate. Life in Peckham wasn't easy. The bills were high, the lift was always broken, and the dreams were often larger than the reality. But as the sun set over the tower blocks, Derek Trotter stood on his balcony one more time. He felt the weight of the rings on his fingers and the history of his family in his heart. He knew the world would keep turning, the seasons would keep changing, and the tides would keep coming in. Kushti, he whispered to the night. He turned back inside, ready for whatever tomorrow would bring. Because a trotter is never truly defeated. They are just preparing for the next big deal. And somewhere in the mystery of where it all comes from, the suitcase was already waiting in the van. The E&D for now. The Trotter Legacy. A novelization of the fall and rise of Peckham's finest. Prologue, The Changing of the Seasons. The yellow Reliant Regal Supervan 3 rattled through the streets of Peckham like a tin can tied to a dog's tail. Behind the wheel, Derek Delboy Trotter hummed a tune that was as much a part of the London fog as the smell of diesel and damp cardboard. The van groaned at every corner, its fiberglass body vibrating with the effort of staying together, much like Dill's various business schemes. "I'll fetch the suitcase from the van," he muttered to himself, the lyrics of his life playing out in his mind. "'Cause if you are the bestest, but you don't ask questions, then, brother, I'm your man." It was a philosophy that had served him well mostly. It was the philosophy of the survivor, the man who knew that where the hooky gear came from didn't matter as much as where it was going. To Dell, life was an endless cycle, much like the changing of the seasons or the tides of the sea. One moment you were eating caviar in a penthouse, and the next you were back in the Nag's Head wondering if you could put a pint on the slate. But lately, the seasons had been particularly cruel. He glanced at his younger brother, Rodney, who sat in the passenger seat looking like a man who had just been told his library card had been revoked. Rodney was nervous. Rodney was always nervous, but today he looked positively translucent, his long, lanky frame folded awkwardly into the cramped cabin. "What's up with you, Rodney?" Dell asked, his voice a gravelly mixture of mock concern and genuine irritation. "I'm a bit nervous, that's all," Rodney replied, adjusting his tie for the 10th time. "I mean, this bloke we're going to see, this Justin, he's not going to be asking me anything about my private life, that sort of thing, is he?" Dell scoffed, shifting the van into a gear that sounded like a bag of bolts being shaken. "Of course he ain't. We're not that private, Rotters," He's a businessman, an interviewer. He wants the raison d'etre, not the under the duvet. He's not going to want to know about, me and Cassandra's little problems. Those eyes twinkled with a mischievous, albeit dangerous, light. No, good, 'cause otherwise I would. What problems? Me and Cassandra haven't got any problems. Rodney stared ahead. That's not what you said to me the other night. All right, so there's been 1 or 2 minor hiccups in the bedroom department. Rodney conceded, his voice dropping an octave as if the gear stick might be listening. But they're personal, Dell, and I told you that in confidence. All right, keep your hair on, Dell said, waving a gold-ringed hand dismissively. I'm not going to be telling him about jiffins and things. And I won't tell him what Cassandra wears, either. As they pulled up to the sleek, glass-fronted office building that served as their destination, the ghosts of their past seemed to linger in the exhaust fumes. They were no longer the millionaires of a few years back. The Trotter Tower's dream had been replaced by the familiar concrete of Nelson Mandela House. But Del Boy didn't do defeat. He did intermission. Chapter 1, The Insight. Justin was the kind of man who wore a suit that cost more than those first 3 cars combined. He sat behind a mahogany desk that was polished to such a high sheen that Del could see his own reflection, and he liked what he saw. To Justin, this was an interview. To Del, it was a pitch. Sorry to keep you waiting, Justin said, his voice smooth and professional. It's been a particularly busy morning. Now, I've got all the basic details about your business career, etc. But what I'd like to do is to get an insight into the real you. Del leaned back, his camel hair coat draped over the chair like the skin of a conquered beast. He crossed his legs, revealing a flash of white sock that screamed Peckham Executive. He adjusted his gold D pendant, making sure the light caught it just right. How you started, how you became so successful, Justin continued, leaning forward. But more importantly, your lives and your raison d'etre. Rodney winced at the French. Del, however, bloomed. Oh, no. Laboratory Garney, Del whispered, his version of liberté, eagle-eyed, fraternit mangled beyond recognition, but delivered with the confidence of a king. So, in your own words and in your own time. Del took a deep breath, the smell of his own cigar smoke clinging to his coat providing a familiar comfort. Well, where shall I start? Justin. Well, up to a few years ago, we were just very ordinary people living. Well, very ordinary lives. Weren't we, Rodney? Weren't we? Rodney gave a stiff, mechanical nod. And then Dole's eyes went misty. As you know, one day I discovered an historic and almost priceless artifact. A watch. Not just any watch, mind you. A Harrison. The holy grail of horology. He paused for dramatic effect. Justin nodded, encouraging him. Dell spun a yarn that combined elements of Indiana Jones with a South London car boot sale. Anyway, at first, we didn't know what to do with it. Dell lied smoothly. In reality, they had nearly tripped over themselves trying to figure out how many zeros were on the end of the valuation. To begin with, we thought about donating it to the British Museum as a national treasure. Rodney cleared his throat. Yeah, and then we decided to flog it. Dell shot him a look. So, before you know, Rodders and me have come in on an eye on £6.5 million. 6.5 million, Justin, in the hand. Not a penny of it hooky. The room seemed to grow quiet as the memory of that wealth washed over them. It had been a time of helicopters and villas, of champagne that didn't taste like fermented apples, and of a world that finally seemed to recognize the genius of Trotter's independent traders. Well, after we divvied the dosh up, right, Dell continued, his voice softening. We made sure that our Uncle Albert got a nice little drink. But we thought of others first. We donated to charity. Enormously, of course. Enormously, Rodney echoed, though his mind was likely calculating the exact cost of the donations versus the cost of the cigars Dell had smoked during that period. So, eventually, we had to start thinking about our future, Dell said, the tone shifting to something more somber. So, we sought out this city stockbroker Real Diamond according to the brochures, and he advised us to invest in a new and vibrant venture, a Central American market. Rodney added, the words tasting like ash in his mouth. It was attracting massive funds from all over the world. We were told it was a sure thing. Dell nodded vigorously. We were making more money than the Royal Mint, but we weren't flat. Oh, no, 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 we weren't flat. I mean, even when we went away on business, we always took the family with us. There would be me and Raquel, my significant other, and, of course, Rodney and Cassandra. And not forgetting my young son, Damien. Chapter 2. The High Life and the Deep Fall. The memory shifted to the sun-drenched shores of their brief paradise. Dell could almost feel the heat on his back and the cold condensation of a pina colada in his hand. He remembered walking into a high-end restaurant, greeted like royalty. "Oh, Mr. Potter, it's good to see you again," the Master D had said. "Bon appetit, Dominic. Bon appetit," Dell had replied, waving a hand as if he owned the very air. It was a world of viva la vida loca, of black cats and voodoo dolls, mostly in the form of the superstitions that follow the suddenly wealthy. But beneath the surface, the premonitions were starting to stir. He remembered the chaos of family life and luxury. Cassandra, always the voice of reason, complaining about Damien's latest antics. "Ralph, you've got to have a word with Damien. People are complaining," she had said, her face flushed with embarrassment. "Oh, no. What's he done now?" Dell had asked, secretly proud of his son's spirit. He's just weed in the swimming pool. Dell had laughed it off then. All little boys do enjoy a splash in the swimming pool, don't they? Yes, Dell, Cassandra had replied through gritted teeth, but not from the top of the 4-meter diving board. He was a little git, as Rodney often said, but he was a trotter, and for a while it felt like the trotter name was written in the stars. They talked about Uncle Albert, who was enjoying his retirement on the coast, living in sin with Elsie Partridge. Old Uncle Albert, he'd love it here. Rodney had mused during a quiet evening by the ocean, right next door to the sea, just like the war. Yeah, Dell had agreed. At least we haven't got to sit through the Battle of the Baltic every night. During the war. But then the tide turned, not with a roar, but with the quiet tap of a keyboard. The stock market crash was like a wave that swept away their sand castles. It turned out that negotiations between the Central American countries had collapsed. Dell explained to Justin, the pain evident in his eyes. Yeah, it was wiped out. Every penny. Nicked the lot. The transition from Mr. Potter to that bloke who owes us for the minibar had been instantaneous. They had paid for the hotel on a credit card, a card that was withdrawn before the ink on the receipt was dry. But Derek is, if nothing else, a very creative businessman. Rodney told the interviewer, a hint of genuine respect breaking through his usual cynicism. He came up with a solution to our dilemma. Up there, Dell had shouted, pointing to a flight path that would lead them back to the reality of Peckham. The news hit the UK faster than a rumor in the Nag's Head. Suddenly, their business associates weren't returning calls. The penthouse was gone. The peacocks were gone. They were cast into a financial wilderness, returning to the only place that would have them, Nelson Mandela House. Chapter 3, The Trial of Friends. The return to Peckham wasn't just about losing money, it was about the fallout. Their friend Mike Fisher, the landlord of the Nag's Head, had invested his life savings into the Trotters' venture. He had remortgaged the pub, betting everything on Del Boy's sure thing. Now, Mike was in prison, awaiting trial for embezzlement, a desperate attempt to recoup the losses. Never was a man more innocent, Dell insisted to the interviewer, his voice cracking. The scene shifted Indel's mind to the courthouse corridor. The air was thick with the scent of cheap floor wax and anxiety. Denzel was pacing, his footsteps echoing like a ticking clock. For God's sake, Denzel, sit down. Albert had said, the memory of his voice sharp and clear. You're wearing the marble out. I can't, Albert, can I? Denzel had replied, I've never been a character witness before. I'm worried. I think Dole's made a terrible mistake, having us for as witnesses. It's like inviting the Manson family to dinner. Trigger, ever the enigma, had looked up from a crumpled newspaper. I'm going to tell them I hear voices. No, Trig, Rodney had sighed. You're not on trial. You're a character witness. I know. Trigger had said simply, "But I hear voices." It had been a disaster. The Trotters lost their homes. Dill's estate with the peacocks became a dream that was auctioned off to pay the interest on the interest. Every day there was more rows, more bad news. Dell told Justin, "We thought things couldn't possibly get worse." Oh, boy, how wrong we were. Chapter 4, The Empty Chair. The blow that hurt the most wasn't financial. It was the call from Elsie Partridge's son. Uncle Albert, the man who had survived torpedoes, shipwrecks, Endel's cooking, had finally reached his final port. The funeral was a blur of black coats and the biting cold of a London winter. Dell felt a profound sense of guilt. They had been off globe-trotting while Albert had been in a rest home, his wartime stories falling on the ears of strangers. "I feel bad, you know," Dell whispered to Rodney as they stood by the hearse, "leaving him here on his own while we was all off in Barbados." He wasn't on his own. Dell, Rodney tried to comfort him. He had Elsie's family. But the funeral itself turned into a classic Trotter farce. They stood among the mourners, listening to tales of a man named Bunny who was a hero in the RAF. "Why did you call him Bunny?" Dell asked a grieving relative. "Well, that's what they called him in the RAF, didn't they? Because his surname was Warren." Dell froze. He looked at the coffin. He looked at the headstone. He looked at the mourning family who were definitely not the Warrens he knew. "Ooh," Dell whispered, his face turning the color of his beige coat. "We're at the wrong funeral." They had spent an hour mourning a complete stranger. It was the kind of moment that would have made Albert roar with laughter, or perhaps start a story about the time he buried a Commodore in the wrong hemisphere during the war. Chapter 5, The Gold Rush. Back in the present, the weight of the inland revenue hung over them like a guillotine. 48,750 for pounds. That was the magic number, plus interest. It was a figure that seemed designed to keep them in the concrete canyons of Peckham forever. "So, what are we going to do?" Then, "Dad," Damien asked, his young face mirroring his father's stubbornness. "I suppose you could always look for a job," Raquel suggested gently. "Trigger said they're recruiting down at his depot. Road sweeping." The thought of Rodney the man with to G.C. East bushing a broom was too much for Dell. "I'm a trader, ain't I?" Dell declared, his eyes catching the light of the flickering television. "I've been trading all my life. I could sell rice to the Chinese." He had a plan. He was going to become the manager of a new firm. Since he was disqualified from running a company, he would make Rodney the managing director. Rodney Trotter, Dell beamed, the new face of Trotter's independent traders. "You'll be in charge of sales, purchasing, and finance. I'll just be the consultant." But the debt remained, and then the flickering screen provided an answer. Gold Rush, the fastest game show on TV, hosted by Jonathan Ross. "I'm going to apply," Dell said. Rodney laughed. Del, last night one of the questions was who introduced the potato to England, and you said King Edward. I didn't hear the question properly. Del snapped. But he did it. He got on. The night of the show was a fever dream. The lights were too bright, and Jonathan Ross's suit was even more expensive than Justin's. Del stood there, representing fine wines, the theater, and 16th century Italian Renaissance art. He sailed through the first round by pure luck. Kilimanjaro. Yes, because Fuji made cameras. He was moving up the Rainbow Road. Then came the moment, the 50,000 pounds question, the penalty question that could save him or sink him. Which classical guitarist wrote the opera The Child and the Enchantment? Was it Ravel, Segovia, or Rodrigo? Dole's mind went blank. He used his SOS. He called Rodney. Back in the flat, Rodney and Cassandra were dressed as a policewoman and a gladiator, an attempt at fantasy therapy that had gone horribly awry when Del unexpectedly stayed home. When the phone rang and Jonathan Ross's voice came through, Rodney thought it was Mickey Pierce winding him up. Oh, piss off, Mickey, you're getting on my tits now, Rodney shouted. But it was real. Rodney, help me. Dole's voice pleaded through the speaker, the guitar question, Ravel, Segovia, or Rodrigo. Rodney, with the confidence of a man who had once heard a record in a library, answered, Ravel, 100% Del. Ravel, Del shouted to the nation. Derek, Jonathan Ross said, a look of genuine pity on his face. That was the wrong answer. It was Segovia. Dole's heart didn't just break, it imploded. He had lost. He had lost the money, the flat, and his dignity on national television. Chapter 6, The Phone Call of Destiny. Back at the flat, the mood was funeral quiet. Del was missing, having disappeared into the night. When he finally returned, he looked older, tired. The vibrant, larger-than-life character seemed to have been hollowed out. I could have sworn it was Ravel, Rodney muttered, looking at his feet. Everyone knows Ravel makes shoes. Del exploded, though there was no real heat in it. It was a trick question, and you fell for it. They sat in the dim light of the living room, the reality of bankruptcy settling in. They were back at the bottom, but they were together. Then the phone rang. Hello, Rodney answered. Yes, can I ask who's calling? He handed the phone to Del. It's the producer of Gold Rush. Del took the phone, his face hardening. I bet it's about that podium. I bet someone's damaged it. Probably Jonathan Ross tripped over his own ego. Hello. Yes, this is Derek Trotter. Del listened. His eyes widened. His jaw dropped. His hand began to shake. And for a moment, Rodney thought he was having another heart turn. What? No, no. He looked at the family, his face transforming from despair to a manic, golden joy. He said there's been a mistake. Del whispered. It was Ravel. The researcher got it wrong. I've won the 50,000 pounds. The room erupted. Cheers, hugs, the sound of champagne, or at least the promise of it, filled the air. I knew I was right. Dell shouted, his voice regaining its Peckham swagger. Give the money to charity. Pull the other one. It's got bells on. We're the Trotters, and we're back. Chapter 7, The Nag's Head Jubilation. The news of Del Boy's windfall spread through Peckham faster than a cheap suit in a rainstorm. By the time the Trotters arrived at the Nag's Head, the pub was already buzzing. Sid, the stand-in landlord while Mike was away, had already lined up a row of glasses. Trigger was there, looking at a pint as if it contained the secrets of the universe. Boyke and Marlene were in their usual corner, Boyke looking particularly smug as he adjusted his silk tie. I hear you've come into a bit of official money, Del, Boyke drawled, his laugh sounding like a machine gun in a library. 50 grand. Hardly enough for a decent cigar. But for you, it must feel like the crown jewels. Jealousy is a terrible thing. Boyke, Del shot back, slamming a stack of notes onto the bar. A round for everyone, Sid, and make it the good stuff. None of that house vinegar. Nice one, Del Boy, Trigger said, nodding slowly. I knew you'd win. I had a feeling in my water. You always have a feeling in your water, Trig, Rodney sighed, leaning against the bar. Usually it's just the plumbing. As the night wore on, the alcohol flowed and the stories grew taller. Denzel talked about the trial, Denzel still shaking his head at the memory of Trigger's testimony. But beneath the laughter, there was a sense of relief. The Trotters weren't just back in the money, they were back in their element. I'm telling you, Rotters, Del whispered, his arm around his brother's shoulder. This is just the start. 50 grand. That's seed money. We're going to turn this into 500. Millionaires by Christmas. I promise you. Rodney looked at his brother, seeing the old spark back in his eyes. He knew it was unlikely. He knew they'd probably lose it all on a shipment of one-legged trousers or glow-in-the-dark Bibles. But for tonight, he didn't care. Yeah, Del, Rodney smiled. Millionaires by Christmas. Chapter 8, The Morning After. The sun rose over Nelson Mandela House, casting a long shadow across the parking lot where the yellow van sat, a silent witness to their roller coaster life. Inside the flat, the air was heavy with the scent of stale celebration and burnt toast. Del sat at the small kitchen table, a mountain of paperwork spread out before him. The Inland Revenue, the Customs and Excise, the various business associates who had suddenly rediscovered his phone number. What are you doing, Del? Raquel asked, coming in and placing a hand on his shoulder. Just planning, sweetheart, Del said, his voice quiet. This 50 grand. It's a lifeline. But we have to be smart. No more sure things. No more Central American markets. You mean it? Raquel asked, her voice full of hope. Del looked up at her, and for a second, The mask of the salesman slipped. I have to mean it. Raquel, for you, for Damien, for the memory of the old man. He looked at the empty chair where Uncle Albert used to sit, telling tales of the war and the sea. He could almost hear the old man's voice, warning him about the sharks in the city. We're going back to basics, Dell declared, his voice regaining its strength. Trotters independent traders, buying and selling, finding the gaps, being the bestest. Rodney walked in, looking like he'd been dragged through a hedge backward. Are we still millionaires, Dell? In spirit, Rotters, Dell grinned, tossing him a set of keys. Now, get the van started. I've heard a rumor about a shipment of slightly used digital watches in Sitcom. We've got work to do. As the Reliant Regal roared, or rather, coughed to life in the parking lot below, Del Boy stood on the balcony, looking out over his kingdom. The seasons had changed, the tides had turned, and the trotters were still standing. Cushty, he whispered to the London wind. Chapter 9, The Sidcup Hustle. The drive to Sidcup was an ordeal that only the brave, or the desperate, would undertake in a three-wheeled van with a heater that emitted nothing but the faint scent of burning damp. Rodney hunched in the passenger seat, his knees pressed against the dashboard. I don't like this, Del, Rodney complained, pulling his scarf tighter. Sidcup, it's practically in the countryside. And these digital watches. Who's the contact? Del wrestled with the steering wheel as the van hit a pothole. It's a bloke named Nifty Neville. A diamond, Rodney. He's got a warehouse full of them. Latest tech, water resistant up to 3 millimeters. 3 millimeters? Del, that's a light drizzle. Exactly. Perfect for the British climate, Del replied, beaming. And get this, they're solar powered. No more batteries. You just show them to the sun, and bingo, you know what time it is. They arrived at a desolate industrial estate that looked like a set for a post-apocalyptic film. Nifty Neville was waiting, leaning against a rusted shutter. He handed Del a cardboard box. Del opened it to reveal a sea of plastic watches, each one flashing 12 o'clock with desperate urgency. Look at that, Rotters. Pure class, Del admired, strapping one onto his wrist. He held his arm out of the van window, waiting for the weak London sun to work its magic. Nothing happened. It's a bit shy. That's all, Del muttered, shaking his arm vigorously. It needs a bit of oomph. Give it a rub, Rodney. Chapter 10, Solar Power in a London Fog. Market day at Peckham was a symphony of chaos. Del stood on his favorite pitch, the cardboard box of solar watches front and center. Step right up, ladies and gentlemen. Del's voice boomed over the crowd. Don't look at the price, look at the quality. Are you tired of batteries dying? Are you sick of losing time when the lights go out? Well, worry no more. The Trotter Solar Watch is here. A small crowd gathered, drawn in by the sheer audacity of his delivery. "Is it waterproof?" a woman asked, pointing at the plastic casing. "Is it waterproof?" Dell laughed, a sound of pure mock indignation. "Darling, this watch was designed for the French Navy. You could dive to the bottom of the Thames, and it would still tell you it's time for a cup of tea." Just then, a dark cloud moved over the market, and a thick, gray fog began to roll in. One by one, the displays on the watches began to fade. The flashing 12 o'clock became a dim memory, then vanished entirely. "Oi, my watch has gone blank," a man shouted, holding up his wrist. Dell didn't blink. "That, sir, is the echo sleep feature. It's saving power. It knows you're not looking at it, so it's having a little nap. Pure genius, innit?" Rodney, standing at the back of the pitch, put his head in his hands. "Dell, the fog is getting thicker. We're selling invisible time." "Nonsense, Rodney. It's an atmospheric horological experience," Dell whispered back, before turning to the crowd with a wide grin. "Who wants another? Buy two, and I'll throw in a set of glow-in-the-dark shoelaces." Chapter 11, The Echoes of the Empire. Back at the Nag's Head that evening, the Sitcom sting was the talk of the bar. Dell sat with a large cognac, a pile of unsold solar watches in a bag at his feet. "So, Dell," Boyke said, leaning over with a smirk that could curdle milk, "I hear you've been selling watches that only work in the Sahara. Very forward-thinking of you. I suppose your next venture will be selling ice cubes to the Eskimos?" "It's about the future, Boyke," Dell retorted, not missing a beat. "Renewable energy. Green technology. I'm an environmentalist now. I'm Del Green Trotter." Trigger nodded solemnly from his stool. "I like the watches, Dell. I bought one. It told me it was midnight all afternoon. Very peaceful." Rodney sighed, sipping his pint. "We made 20 quid, Dell, and half of that was from selling the shoelaces to a blind man." Raquel arrived, sitting down next to Dell. She looked at the bag of watches and then at Dell's hopeful face. "At least you're trying, Dell. That's what matters." "Exactly, sweetheart," Dell said, squeezing her hand. "We're back on the streets, the pulse of the city. We're traders, Rodney. We don't need millions to be happy. We just need a good pitch and a bit of luck." Rodney looked around the pub at the familiar faces, the peeling wallpaper, and the warm, noisy atmosphere. He realized that despite everything, he wouldn't trade this for a boardroom in Central America. "I suppose you're right, Dell," Rodney admitted. "But if you bring home a shipment of solar-powered umbrellas, I'm leaving." Chapter 12, Bonjour, Peckham. The night was quiet as Dell stood on the balcony of Nelson Mandela House. The lights of London stretched out before him, a tapestry of possibilities and pitfalls. He thought about the Harrison watch, the helicopters, and the crash. It felt like a lifetime ago. He looked at the yellow van in the parking lot below. It looked small and battered, but it was still there. It had survived the million-pound dream and the bankruptcy nightmare. It was a trotter through and through. "You okay, Del?" Raquel asked, joining him. "Yeah," Del breathed, the familiar scent of the city filling his lungs. "I was just thinking, we've been through a lot, haven't we? But we're still here, still fighting, still trading. And we've got each other," she reminded him. "And 50 grand in the bank," Del added, the old twinkle returning to his eyes. "Well, 49,980 after today's expenses." He looked up at the stars, which were finally visible as the fog cleared. "You know, Rodders is a good lad," Del mused. "He's got his GCEs, his ideas, but he needs me. He needs the old Del Boy touch." He leaned over the railing, shouting into the darkness, "Hear that? London, the Trotters are back, and this time next year. Well, you know the rest." Raquel laughed and pulled him back inside. As the door closed, the faint sound of a distant police siren echoed through the streets, a reminder that in Peckham, the hustle never truly ends. "Bonjour, Peckham," Del whispered as he turned off the light. "Bonjour." Chapter 13, The Executive Suit. The following Monday, Rodney arrived at the flat wearing a suit that was so sharp it could have been used to carve a Sunday roast. It was a charcoal gray number, impeccably tailored, or at least it looked that way until he tried to sit down and the seams let out a high-pitched scream of protest. "You look like a proper businessman, Rodney," Del remarked, stirring a cup of tea with a gold-plated spoon. "A bit like a younger, slightly more gaunt version of Richard Branson, minus the island, and the airlines, and the charisma. I'm taking my role seriously, Del," Rodney insisted, checking his reflection in a toaster. "Cassandra says if I'm the managing director, I should project an image of authority. We're having an executive lunch today." "An executive lunch? Sounds posh," Del said, his interest piqued. "Where are we going? The Ritz, Savoy, Bernie's Cafe?" "We're going to that new place, Le Petit Gourmet," Rodney said proudly. "It's very exclusive. You have to book a table 3 weeks in advance." 3 weeks. I could have grown my own potatoes in that time, Del scoffed. "But go on, then. I'll come as your consultant. I've got some consulting to do anyway. I need to see a man about a consignment of, well, let's just say it's an atmospheric opportunity." The lunch was a disaster of epic proportions. The portions were so small that Del spent 10 minutes looking for his steak with a magnifying glass. When the bill arrived, it was more than Rodney's weekly salary. 25 quid for a sprig of parsley and a piece of meat the size of a postage stamp, Del whispered, his face turning a dangerous shade of red. "I've seen more substance in a political manifesto." "It's about the experience, Del," Rodney hissed back. Experience. The only experience I'm having is the experience of starvation. Dell retorted. He leaned over to a nearby table where a wealthy-looking couple were dining. Excuse me, sir, are you finished with that bread roll? Only my managing director here has a very sensitive appetite. Chapter 14, The Bargain from Brussels. A few days later, Dell returned to the flat looking like he just won the lottery. He was carrying a small, metallic briefcase that looked remarkably like the ones used by nuclear scientists in 1960 spy films. Gather round, everyone, Dell announced, placing the briefcase on the kitchen table. Rodney, Raquel, Cassandra, if you're finished with your executive bookkeeping, take a look at this. He flipped the latches and opened the case. Inside were dozens of small, silver canisters that looked like miniature fire extinguishers. What are they, Dell? Raquel asked, peering into the box. Hairspray, deodorant, anti-tank missiles. Better. Dell beamed. This, my dear family, is alpine oxygen. Fresh air, straight from the peaks of the Swiss Alps. Compressed, purified, and ready to revitalize the weary lungs of the London workforce. Rodney stared at the canisters. Dell, you've bought a box of air? Not just air, Rodney. Alpine air. It's the latest craze in Brussels. All the top executives are using it to stay sharp. One puff of this and you're ready to take on the world. I've got 2,000 canisters arriving tomorrow. How much did they cost? Cassandra asked, her eyebrows reaching for her hairline. A bargain. $5,000 for the lot. We sell them at 5 quid a puff, a canister, and we're looking at a 10,000-pound profit. Tax-free, naturally. Dell, the air in London is free, Rodney pointed out. Dirty, yes, but free. Free but filthy. Rodney, this is pure. It's Trotter fresh. I've already got a marketing slogan. Don't just breathe, peak performance. Chapter 15, The Charity Gala and the Smog. The timing of the Alpine Oxygen launch couldn't have been more perfect. A thick, yellow smog had descended upon London, turning the city into something resembling a giant bowl of pea soup. People were coughing, spluttering, and generally desperate for a breath of something that didn't taste like coal dust. This is it, rotters, Dell shouted, loading the van. The market will be screaming for this. We're going to be heroes, like the Red Cross, but with better jewelry. They set up their pitch in the heart of Peckham. Dell was wearing a white lab coat he'd borrowed from a local dentist, and Rodney was standing by with a megaphone. Feeling sluggish, lungs feeling like a chimney sweep's waistcoat, Dell shouted, "Get your Trotter fresh alpine oxygen. 1 puff and you'll think you're skiing in St. Moritz." A crowd gathered instantly. People were clamoring for the canisters, waving 5-pound notes in the air. For 2 hours, it was a frenzy. Dell was sweating, his lab coat stained with fog. but he was grinning like a Cheshire cat. I told you, Rodney, vision, that's what I've got. But then the first complaint arrived. A man who had just bought 5 canisters came back, looking less than revitalized. Oi, this canister is empty, he shouted. Empty? Impossible, Dell said, taking the canister. He pressed the nozzle. A faint, wheezing sound emerged, followed by a smell that was definitely not reminiscent of the Swiss Alps. In fact, it smelled remarkably like Brussels sprouts, Rodney whispered, sniffing the air. Brussels sprouts, the man roared. I'm breathing in a Sunday dinner. Chapter 16, The Reality of Fresh Air. It turned out that Nifty Neville's Brussels contact had been slightly less than honest. The canisters weren't filled with Alpine air. They were a surplus batch of industrial-grade gas used in a Belgian vegetable packing plant. The crowd quickly turned from desperate customers to an angry mob. Dell and Rodney barely made it to the van before the first tomato hit the windshield. Start the engine, Rodney. Start the engine, Dell screamed. The Reliant Regal coughed, spluttered, and then roared to life, screeching away from the market just as a hail of empty canisters rained down around them. Back at the flat, the silence was deafening. Raquel and Cassandra were waiting, their arms crossed. So, Raquel said softly, "How did the peak performance go?" Dell sat down at the table, his lab coat torn and his pride even more so. Well, we had a bit of a technical glitch. The Belgian atmosphere is a bit more robust than I anticipated. You lost 5,000 pounds, Dell, Cassandra said, her voice like ice. No, not lost. Invested in a lesson, Dell corrected weakly. And besides, we've still got the canisters. They're very durable. We could use them as doorstops. Rodney looked at his brother, and for a moment he felt a surge of anger. But then he saw the exhaustion in those eyes, the way his shoulders slumped. He realized that Dell was just trying to get them back to where they were, to the glory days of the Harrison watch. It's okay, Dell, Rodney said, sitting down next to him. We've still got the 44,000 from the game show. We're not broke. Dell looked up, a small smile playing on his lips. You're right, Rotters. You're right. And I've heard a rumor about a shipment of slightly damaged electric toothbrushes in Gravesend. They're sonic, apparently. Very modern. Raquel sighed and walked over to the kitchen. I'll make some tea. And Dell. Yes, sweetheart. No more air from anywhere. Promise, Dell said, crossing his heart with a gold-ringed finger. He winked at Rodney. But toothbrushes, Rotters. Everyone's got teeth, haven't they? It's a guaranteed winner. As the kettle began to whistle, the Trotters sat together in the heart of Peckham, a family built on dreams, disasters, and an unbreakable bond that no amount of Belgian sprout gas could ever truly tarnish. Kushti, Dell whispered, Kushti. The Peckham Phoenix, a novelization of the Trotter Chronicles. Chapter 1, The Yellow Ghost of Peckham. The yellow three-wheeled Reliant Regal then rattled through the streets of Peckham like a skeletal remains of a decade everyone else had tried to forget. On its side, the faded lettering still defiantly proclaimed, Trotter's Independent Traders, New York, Paris, Peckham. It was a lie, of course. They had been to Paris briefly. They had never been to New York, and Peckham was currently trying its best to pretend they didn't exist. Derek Delboy Trotter sat behind the wheel, his rings catching the stray glints of a London sun that looked like it had been filtered through a greasy chip wrapper. He was humming the theme tune to his own life, a melody of seasons changing and tides turning. I'll fetch the suitcase from the van, he muttered to himself, a mantra of the perpetual salesman. Beside him sat Rodney. Rodney, the graduate with 2 GCEs and a brain that was currently a chaotic blender of existential dread and marital anxiety. Rodney was looking at the dashboard as if it were a ticking bomb. "What's up with you, Rodney?" Dell asked, his voice a gravelly mix of concern and irritation. "You look like a man who's just found out his lottery ticket was for last week's straw." "I'm a bit nervous, Dell," Rodney admitted, his voice cracking slightly. "This bloke we're going to see, this Justin, he's a documentary maker, right? He's not going to be asking me anything personal about my private life." Dell swung the van around a corner with the grace of a shopping trolley in a hurricane. "Of course he ain't. We're not that private, are we? We're public figures, the Trotters of Nelson Mandela House. But what about, me and Cassandra, our hiccups?" Dell rolled his eyes. "He's not going to want to know about your little problems in the bedroom department, Rodney. Though, strictly speaking, if you're having hiccups in the bedroom, you're probably doing it wrong." "I told you that in confidence," Rodney hissed, his face reddening to the color of a ripe tomato. "And I'm keeping it in confidence," Dell shouted back. "I'm not going to be telling him about jiffins and what Cassandra wears. I've got more class than that, mostly." Chapter 2, The Interrogator. Justin was the kind of man who wore spectacles not because he needed them, but because they made his expensive degree look even more expensive. His office was a minimalist vacuum of white walls and overpriced Scandinavian furniture. He looked at the Trotter brothers as if they were a rare species of beetle that had accidentally crawled onto his silk tie. "Sorry to keep you waiting," Justin said, his voice dripping with the practiced sincerity of a BBC middle manager. "It's been a particularly busy morning. Now, I've got all the basic details about your business career, the watches, the bottled water, the pre-war lead soldiers. But what I'd like to do is to get an insight into the real you." Dell leaned back, crossing his legs and adjusting his tie. He felt at home. Give Del Boy an audience and a chance to rewrite history. And he was more dangerous than a shark in a tuxedo. How you started, how you became so successful, Justin continued, leaning forward. But more importantly, your lives and your raison d'etre. Dell blinked. Oh, no. Laboratory Garney. I don't use that stuff. It's all natural, this hair. Rodney groaned into his hands. He means reason for being. Dell. I knew that. Dell snapped. I was just checking if he did. Right then, Justin. Where shall I start? Up to a few years ago, we were just very ordinary people living very ordinary lives. Weren't we, Rodney? Rodney gave a hollow laugh. Ordinary. Dell, our childhood involved hiding from the rent collector behind a sofa that was technically also being repossessed. Details, details. Dell waved a hand dismissively. And then, as you know, one day I discovered an historic and almost priceless artifact. A watch. A Harrison Lesser watch. Found it in the back of a garage. It was like a sign from the gods of commerce. Chapter 3, The Golden Age. For a brief, shimmering moment in the mid-90s, the Trotters had been kings. The novel of their lives had transitioned from a gritty social drama to a glossy jet-set thriller. Anyway, Dell continued, his eyes glazing over with the memory of pure, unadulterated wealth. At first, we didn't know what to do with it. We thought about donating it to the British Museum as a national treasure. We really did. We felt a sense of duty to the crown. We thought about it for exactly 3 seconds. Rodney corrected. And then we decided to flog it. Dell grinned. 6.5 million quid. Justin, can you imagine that? 6.5 million of the Queen's finest nuggets. We divvied the dosh up, making sure our Uncle Albert got a nice little drink, bless his old seafaring soul, and we thought of others. We donated to charity. Enormously, of course. We bought a round of drinks for the whole Mag's Head, Rodney whispered. That was our charity work. It felt like a charity, Dell insisted. Have you seen the state of Trigger? He needs all the help he can get. So, eventually, we had to start thinking about our future. We sought out a city stockbroker, a man with a tie thinner than a strand of spaghetti and a brain like a calculator. He advised us to invest in a new and vibrant venture, a Central American market. Dell stood up, pacing the small office. It was attracting massive funds from all over the world. We were making more money than the Royal Mint. We weren't just flat. Justin, we were ascendant. Chapter 4, The Fall of the Empire. The flashback in Dell's mind was vivid. He remembered the heat of the Caribbean, the smell of expensive sun cream, and the feeling of a platinum credit card in his pocket, a card that felt like it had the power to stop the rotation of the earth if he swiped it hard enough. He remembered Raquel, his significant other, looking like a movie star in a wide-brimmed hat. He remembered young Damien, the fruit of his loins, playing on the deck of a yacht. He remembered Rodney and Cassandra, looking like they finally belonged in a world where the wine didn't come from a box. And then the music changed. It wasn't a sudden explosion. It was the sound of a phone not ringing. It was the sight of a computer screen flickering with red numbers that shouldn't have been there. She's into superstitions. The radio had been playing in the hotel lobby. Livin' La Vida Loca. It turned out, Dell said, his voice dropping an octave, that negotiations between the Central American countries had collapsed, wiped out. The market didn't just crash. It evaporated. It was like someone had pulled the plug on the ocean. We'd even paid for the hotel on a credit card. Rodney added, the ghost of the trauma still visible in his eyes. A credit card which was withdrawn while we were still at the breakfast buffet. I was halfway through a bowl of exotic fruit, and suddenly I was an international pauper. Dell nodded solemnly, but Derek Trotter is, if nothing else, a creative businessman. I came up with a solution. We had to leave. Fast. We ran, Rodney said. We literally ran for the airport while the concierge was still looking for the bill. Chapter 5. The Financial Wilderness. The return to the UK was not met with a ticker-tape parade. The news of the Trotter collapse had traveled faster than a Peckham rumor. How long did it take for the news to hit the UK? Justin asked, scribbling notes furiously. About as long as it took for someone to push a button on the internet. Dell sighed. Suddenly, all our so-called business associates wouldn't return our calls. We were cast into a financial wilderness. It was like the desert, but with more rain and less sand. And then there was Mike. Rodney reminded him. Dell's face darkened. Mike Fisher, the landlord of the Nag's Head, a man who had seen the Trotters as his ticket out of the pub trade. Mike invested his life savings in our venture, Dell explained. He actually remortgaged the pub. He's in prison now, awaiting trial. The fraud squad claims he tried to recoup his losses by embezzling the brewery. Never was a man more innocent. He confessed to everything, Dell, Rodney pointed out. He was under duress. Dell shouted. The pressure of the brewing industry is immense. The narrative shifted to the waiting room of the court. The atmosphere was thick with the smell of cheap coffee and the nervous sweat of Peckham's finest. Denzel was pacing, wearing the marble floor down. Uncle Albert was sitting there, looking like a weary old owl. Trigger was. Well, Trigger was staring at a wall, possibly having a conversation with his own shadow. Trig, if I go in there and tell the truth, Denzel had said, Dell and Rodney are going to be spending the next 5 years sharpening Jeffrey Archer's pencils. I'm going to tell them I hear voices. Trigger had replied, with the terrifying sincerity of the truly confused. Chapter 6. The Wrong Side.